they were there for a presence to support him. Well, they had recently had a tragedy. Nobody buys it at all. Listen to what Chuck Todd said on Meet the Press, cut 6.
President Biden's handling of the case has raised questions at a time when voters already have doubts about his age and...
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Happy Monday. Today's YouTube live chat poll is asking, does the increasing number of indictments affect your support for Trump? Yes, you support him more. Yes, you support him less. No, you will continue your support. Or no, you will continue not to support. So you really got to read through those options. Once again, the poll is asking, does the increasing number of indictments affect your support for Trump? Leave a comment over that. It's a big topic, big issue. So let us know how you feel on that by leaving a comment and casting your vote on the YouTube live chat poll.
Will Scharf is going to be, if you woke up today and you thought it's going to be kind of a lazy Monday, you're wrong. It is going to be full Monday. Will Scharf is on the show starting here in like 5 minutes. He is not only running for Attorney General in Missouri, which you probably know, but he has been making, actually he had like a viral tweet that went crazy recently.
Many viral tweets. Threads.
Threads. Yeah, exactly. And he's going to be in to talk about Hunter Biden and the special counsel and Trump indictments and a lot of the legal stuff, probably for a couple segments, because he'll be in the studio, standing right here in a minute. Then Wiggins America, of course, and then at 1:25, Rachel Campos-Duffy, who loves Annie,
and we love her,
is going to be on.
This is not a one-sided relationship.
Yeah, we love her.
We also love Rachel Campos-Duffy. Anybody who is that wonderful that they would say, you know who I want to have on is somebody equally wonderful to me. That is Annie Frey.
What are you talking about?
When you make your TV hits.
Let's talk about this show. Oh God.
She is going to talk about. She's going to talk about whatever. We're going to have her back on just to catch up.
Okay. Not whatever.
She's going to talk about the news of the day. It's going to be great. It's going to be better than this. My sincere hope is that she does not rewind and watch this. Then Jimmy Fela. Yeah. Okay. There was a little bit of a groan, like we were not sure about that. Jimmy Fela, host of Fox Across America. That's all I'm going to say. He's going to be on the show at 2:05. There's a reason that he's going to be on, and I cannot tell you what that is yet.
Once again, the YouTube live chat poll is asking, does the increasing number of indictments affect your support for Trump? Yes, you support him more with the more indictments that come out. Yes, you support him less with the more that come out. No, you will continue support no matter, you'll continue support. Or no, you will continue not to support. I had to read those a lot to understand, so you might as well. So vote in the YouTube live chat poll, and I will read comments over that throughout the show, and then Annie will give the results at 2:45.
Yay! All right, I think one of us is going to have to go get Will Scharf.
On the free Odyssey app.
A Trump loss in court. Lisa Brady, Fox News. The judge presiding over a New York hush money-related case against former President Trump has just denied Trump's bid for the judge to recuse himself, arguing it wouldn't be in the public's interest and that he's certain in his ability to be fair and impartial. Trump has pleaded not guilty in that Manhattan case and 2 federal indictments stemming from a special counsel probe. Meantime, he's been posting denials about election tampering in Georgia, where a grand jury was expected to meet after a 2-year probe by prosecutors of those allegations. U.S. Attorney David Weiss begins his first full week as the newly appointed special counsel investigating Hunter Biden, just a few weeks after a plea deal in a tax and gun case fell apart.
Hunter Biden's attorneys filed a new motion in the court in Delaware with Judge Mariella Norica and said essentially if the government says the plea deal is off, and that's what the government said in a filing on Friday, then so be it. Let me read from this filing late last night, quote, while counsel for the defendant are still prepared to respond to the questions Your Honor posed at the July 26th hearing in light of the United States decision on Friday everybody to renege on the previously agreed upon plea agreement. We agree that those issues are moot at this point.
Fox's David Spunt. The judge raised questions about an ongoing probe of the president's son and the level of immunity offered by that proposed plea deal. A separate special counsel is probing President Biden's handling of classified documents. On Maui, only a fraction of the wildfire wreckage has been searched so far.
We are standing ready to respond to any reports from our partners, and we have boats on the ground.
Coast Guard commander and Maui search leader Kristen Hahn. The Maui fires already the deadliest in more than a century in the U.S., with at least 96 people killed, more than 2,000 structures destroyed. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The unsettled weather is gone. Partly sunny skies going through our Monday afternoon. It's going to be a little windy from the northwest, but can't complain about the temperatures. 82. Tonight, partly cloudy, 70s for evening plans. It's cool overnight. And let's keep the winds up, especially during the evening. 62 for the overnight low. Tuesday, partly sunny, delightful. 75 degrees. Wednesday, sunny and 82. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Imagine what your backyard could look like once my friends from Chesterfield Fence and Deck have been there. Mark Cox here. Listen, mention my name, mention Mark, and get 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They've been around for 55 years. They are one of St. Louis' top names in home improvements with a commitment to quality and professionalism. And you know that you have their sign in your yard. It's a sign you have the very best. Locally owned and operated for 55 years. They will come to your house, give you a free estimate at no obligation, free project design as well. They'll take measurements. They'll show you all of their product offerings right there at your house, or you can go to their showroom if you need that extra inspiration. But they do fences, they do decks, they do custom sunrooms and screen rooms and pergolas. Take advantage of it. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Go online today and check them out at chesterfieldfence.com.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments. And get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. Lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lance.drurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Angie makes it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get your home projects done well, from repair to remodel. Book instantly at an upfront price or request quotes from multiple pros. Get started on the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I would say he needs to look at the facts because the truth hurts. The fact that they are trying to cover up for Hunter Biden and the Biden family business influence peddling scheme is absolutely unacceptable. We have the two IRS whistleblowers that came before my committee, plus we have the bank records coming from Jamie Comer's committee that both highlight more than $17 million of money that's been paid to the Biden family. And it's all because of, quote, the brand, according to Devin Archer. And the brand is Joe Biden.
So there you have Congressman Jason Smith. You might know him. He's from around here, talking about the new special counsel, the Hunter Biden corruption, and how it potentially gets to the president of the United States. And if you are like me, you're kind of spoon-feeding yourself all of the different information as it is unveiled. We have congressional committees looking into the corruption. We have plea deals being thrown about. We now have special counsels. And I, in my great law degree that I got from Twitter, don't understand all of it all the time. So we brought in an expert. Will Scharf is in studio with us. He's a candidate for Missouri Attorney General, but he is running for Attorney General based on his experience as a former federal prosecutor at the Eastern District of Missouri, a former policy director for the Missouri Governor's Office as well. He's also worked on confirmations of Justice Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett, and he is in studio with us to ask even the stupidest questions that I can come up with. Will Scharf, welcome.
Great to be with you as always. There's just one correction I'd make.
Uh-oh.
You know, Jason Smith in that clip you played said that the Hunter Biden family corruption was up to $17 million. Actually, as of the last report out of the House Oversight Committee, they've now identified over $20 million of payments to the Biden family from foreign actors. It's, I believe, the greatest scandal in American history, and it's great that Republicans in the House have paid the attention to it that they have, and I think we're finally getting some answers.
Wow, what a statement, over $20 million. Now, you're telling me about this massive number and a House Oversight Committee document that you were reading, a report that you were reading before you came into the studio today. How do we, the president said, I didn't talk to Hunter Biden's co-workers or colleagues or whatever. I didn't talk business with any of them. They've said regularly, we talked about the weather. It was just a formality. And I hear a lot of people who comment on our show on a regular basis say, there's no there. There's no actual business deals taking place. How do we know that $20+ million that came into the Biden family coffers was nefarious?
So when we look at the record and the timeline of payments made and then official actions made by the Obama administration when Joe Biden was vice president, it certainly raises an awful lot of suspicion. So you have millions of dollars being paid to Hunter and his business partner, Devin Archer, by Burisma, this Ukrainian gas company. Burisma's highest priority was getting this Ukrainian prosecutor named Shokin fired. Joe Biden has bragged on camera about playing a key role in getting Shokin fired. And this is, again, on behalf of a company that was paying Hunter Biden personally $1 million a year, Devin Archer another $1 million a year. When you talk about Joe Biden's brand being the product, what you're really talking about is the monetization of the office of the vice presidency when this guy was a heartbeat away from the president, from being president. He was literally in the White House every day guiding American policy. I mean, that's what this was. It was a vast, sprawling foreign influence peddling operation with roots in some of the most corrupt countries in the world, like Kazakhstan, like the Ukraine. Obviously, foreign business dealings with China, probably our greatest global competitor and opponent now. I mean, I said it before, I'll say it again. This is the greatest scandal in American history. It requires more investigation. It requires prosecution. And hopefully in the coming months, we'll get some answers.
We're speaking with Will Scharf here in studio, former federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of Missouri. And he's also a candidate for the Attorney General position here in the state of Missouri. A commenter says right now, is Mr. Scharf saying that the entire Obama administration was bribed?
I think certainly Joe Biden, there's very good evidence that Joe Biden was bribed. I was saying to a friend of mine yesterday, I think I could take the Joe Biden case to a federal grand jury and get them to return an indictment, charging him with bribery and Foreign Corrupt Practices Act violations tomorrow. I mean, that's how extreme the evidence that's already come out really is. And the fact that there doesn't seem to be any movement by the Biden Department of Justice, by Merrick Garland, to hold responsible parties accountable is really outrageous. And to the contrary, what they've done at every stage here is attempted to let Hunter Biden off the hook, attempted to give him a sweetheart plea deal. Now the empanelment of a special counsel, which most people think is just another step in this cover-up process. It's really outrageous, and I think the American people deserve answers that they haven't gotten so far.
We're speaking with Will Scharf in studio here about the latest news and developments that have occurred with the Hunter Biden investigation. We're going to speak in about 15 minutes or so. We're going to move from Joe Biden and Hunter Biden into the Trump legal questions that we have. And honestly, 2 segments is probably not going to be enough, so we hope you'll come back and explain these things to me, because I said to you before we started the show here, I want to ask you some incredibly basic questions. This is not legal analysis 101. This is legal analysis 100. When we hear the term special counsel, a lot of people will be like, oh, wow, they took a really big step here to put a special counsel in charge of the Hunter Biden investigation. And what I heard you just say is this is not really something that is going to attack Hunter Biden. It's maybe quite the opposite. What is a special counsel first and foremost?
So a special counsel is basically just a prosecutor who, instead of prosecuting crimes within a given jurisdiction or a given area of the law, is empowered to investigate and prosecute a particular person, a particular organization, a particular series of facts. So what the empanelment of a special prosecutor to investigate Hunter Biden should be about is giving a federal prosecutor the authority and the ability to prosecute Hunter in any jurisdiction in the United States for his whole history of criminality, as opposed to having it chopped up among different offices and different prosecutors. The thing that's raising a lot of people's hackles and a lot of suspicion, though, is that the prosecutor they appointed, a guy named Weiss, he was the one who structured this sweetheart plea deal that they tried to ram through in federal court in Delaware a couple weeks ago. And what that plea deal would have done is, in return for Hunter agreeing to a slap on the wrist, a misdemeanor tax evasion charges, it would have given him a broad grant of immunity, essentially preventing any other prosecutor from ever again prosecuting him for all of this foreign influence peddling that we're talking about.
That's pretty big.
It's huge. And the fact that they chose that guy to be the special counsel has led a lot of people to question, obviously, how serious the Merrick Garland Department of Justice is about getting to the bottom of Hunter Biden and his sprawling criminal web.
So you're bringing up the name David Weiss, and we're talking about the original court case that we saw where the plea deal kind of fell through, which, from what I understand, legally was not really what was expected to happen. That ended up taking a kind of a surprising turn of events. But when I hear the name David Weiss, then I'm thinking about a previous big story, which was the IRS whistleblower testimony. And watching the Republicans and Democrats ping pong back and forth, questioning these IRS whistleblowers, who one of them was very open about not being a Republican supporter and was a Democrat, was saying that the whistleblowers together were saying that David Weiss, his ability to pursue what he was supposed to pursue, it was in question. we saw David Weiss come out and tell one group one thing, and then later I think the way I remember the timeline is the IRS whistleblowers are going to go make their testimony, and then all of a sudden David Weiss kind of changed the story. Give us a little background on who David Weiss is to the American public based on whose headlines are in the news media at any given time.
Sure. So, and just to backtrack just for 1 second, one of the most interesting accusations made by those IRS whistleblowers was that they were prevented from interviewing Hunter Biden by the Biden transition team in 2020. So that's top-level political cover given to the son of the incoming president by high-ranking members of Joe Biden's team. So that just, again, raises the suspicion of whether Merrick Garland, the attorney general, is actually serious about getting to the bottom of all of this. Weiss is a prosecutor. He's the federal prosecutor in Delaware. He's now been empowered to act as special counsel with respect to Hunter's case. His reputation before this, he was, I'd say, relatively little known in political circles. I think his reputation has taken a huge hit by his conduct so far investigating Hunter Biden. That the fact that he would agree to this kind of a sweetheart plea deal, the fact that Hunter really wasn't treated as other criminal defendants would be, it's just not the way the law is supposed to work. And speaking as a former federal prosecutor, someone who's been in plea negotiations before, who's dealt with pretty serious criminal defendants, the idea that you would structure a plea the way that they did and the way that they structured it was designed to avoid judicial oversight, to keep key aspects of the plea off the public record. The whole case looks much more like a cover-up than it does like an actual prosecution.
I try to, when I'm consuming these stories, I try to view it from the other side and think if I were internally rooting for the Bidens, and I didn't want to see this be, and I'm not, folks, just for the record, I'm rooting for our country, and watching Hunter Biden get treated the way he gets treated and knowing that all the obstacles are cleared out of the way for him. And then in the next segment, we're going to get into the Trump counterpoint there and how all the obstacles are removed from Hunter Biden in place in front of Donald Trump. What I'm trying to figure out is what are maybe the Occam's razor explanations as to why some of these things happen. If you're from the left, if you're on the Biden side, if you're a Biden supporter, what are some obvious explanations for the money that was coming in, the clearing of these obstacles from the investigative departments?
So there is no explanation for why $20 million ended up in accounts tied to the Biden family other than foreign influence peddling. And in fact, nobody in the Biden administration, nobody on Joe Biden's political team, nobody associated with the Bidens has ever made the argument or has ever been able to point to any facts showing that Hunter was actually doing anything for all of this money that was coming in. Hunter wasn't providing legal services. He wasn't doing anything of substance other than providing access to his father and providing essentially political top cover for foreign actors. So that's kind of where Occam's razor cuts the other way against the Bidens here, that there really is no innocent explanation for what was going on, and there's been no real attempt to provide an innocent explanation.
So in addition to what you're saying here, there's nobody who's outright denying and explaining this is where that money came from, and it's obvious XYZ, and we all go, well, that might be a possible explanation, but it does still look like it could be possible corruption. There's no major pushback on that detail of it. And then I'm thinking back to when President Joe Biden was asked about these corrupt practices, and his first response is, where's the money? And it's like, what a weird thing to say when you have millions of dollars being identified coming into your family's bank accounts to be like, prove it.
Well, and we also have emails from Hunter Biden to other family members saying that his dad was taking 50% of his money. We have documents showing, 10% to the big guy being Joe Biden. I think the reason why the Biden administration and Biden's political team are so desperate to bury the Hunter Biden story is exactly that this money was flowing to Joe, that Joe was at the center of this whole operation. There is no innocent explanation for what Hunter and Devin Archer and all these other guys were doing abroad. And the parties they were dealing with were among the worst of the worst. We're talking about Kazakhstani oligarchs. We're talking about these crooked deals in Ukraine. We're talking about the Chinese Communist Party and Chinese government-associated entities like the China Bank. I mean, the depth and level of corruption here is just, it's unprecedented in American history. And that's why I think that, the House Oversight Committee, as they've started digging, this story has gotten more and more outrageous, not less outrageous.
So before we put a button on this and transition into the possible likely indictments coming down this week at any time, I don't know when specifically they will hit, in Georgia against Donald Trump. When you see the special counsel appointment from Merrick Garland last week, what do you want to prepare voters and taxpayers to understand about the process, how this is going to be moving forward? Because people want answers and they want justice in, I would argue, both cases, the Biden case and the Trump case. What should people know about the system, the legal system, and how this is going to progress?
So I think the special counsel appointment was guided by two main considerations. First, the Hunter Biden case was in front of a judge, Judge Nareka in Delaware, who was highly, highly skeptical of what the Garland Department of Justice was trying to do, essentially wiping the slate clean for Hunter in return for misdemeanor pleas. So they had to get things out of Judge Nareka's courtroom. And they also know that with these investigations rolling in the House, Jason Smith with House Ways and Means Committee, Comer with the Oversight Committee, they wanted to provide top cover for Weiss and prevent him from having to testify about aspects of this investigation. So by impaneling him as a special counsel, they achieve both of those ends, that they give Weiss the ability to bring cases or to try to structure a new sweetheart plea deal in a different jurisdiction with hopefully a more favorable judge. And they also shield him from having to testify about what he's done and what he's doing as the House gets more and more aggressive and has more information to pursue their investigations. So that's, you said before Occam's razor, to me, that's the simplest explanation of what's going on here. This was a carefully considered decision by the Biden DOJ to prevent Weiss from having to testify. They can say it's an ongoing investigation, and to get things away from this judge who seemed totally unwilling to go along with a sweetheart plea deal, who frankly seemed likely to throw Hunter in prison, even on the basis of these misdemeanor pleas. So to me, that's what's really going on here.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break. We've got Will Scharf in studio with us. He is a former federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of Missouri. You want to follow him on Twitter at Will Scharf. He gets great legal analysis and wonderfully written threads that I follow, the legal minds across the country follow, and I've seen them interact as well. He's a candidate for Missouri Attorney General as well. Will Scharf is going to be with us when we come back, and we're going to dive into Trump indictments. I don't know what part do. What is part? How do you say that when it's four? I'm gonna have to. Quattro.
We're up to quattro. It's pretty crazy.
It is crazy. Georgia. Are those indictments going to come down soon? We're going to ask Will Scharf about that when we return. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan is a smart phone call to make if you're looking to secure your new mortgage. 314-324-4440. Call 314-324-4440. You can text them there as well. I've been seeing these stories about interest rates as they're very high. And if you're in a position where you need to get a mortgage, you can't afford not to reach out to Stewie because he's going to get you the best deal that is possible out there. And when you qualify for the Bagel Loan, no closing costs. 314-324-4440. I have friends who are recently going through the process of acquiring a house. House prices are high. You can't afford to pay more than you have to secure your mortgage. And Stewie is the best at it. He's been recognized nationally for being a leading lender for people exactly like you because he's successful at it by treating you the way old-fashioned business practices would have you treated. He is personal. He works with you. He talks to you about your options and helps guide you in making a smart economic decision for yourself. I've worked with him multiple times. You'll appreciate his services as well. 314-324-4440. You can Google the Bagel Loan. NMLS number 226715.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, Trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Get ready for your summer adventures. Come to the Good Feet store today. Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. You deserve comfort in your life. Come in for your free test walk today.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25-RHINO. If you need a new bath or shower, call my friends at Bath Fitter of St. Louis. Mark Cox here. We love our new shower and tub enclosure. It looks fantastic. No demolition, no mess, and a lifetime guarantee. Right now, they're having a sale for 20% off up to $1,000 or 0 interest until 2028. That's 5 years. Call 636-338-1648. That's 636-338-1648. Bath Fitter of St. Louis.
Yes, with inflation, interest rate increases, and a possible recession looming, we are no doubt facing uncertain times in the housing market. But as a realtor with over 20 years of experience, I can tell you, if you're thinking of selling your home, now more than ever, you need a realtor to help you through these times while saving you money. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty, and we offer all of this for only 4%. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsl-honorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
While the Republican candidates battle it out, we're kicking back and watching it unfold.
Join us for a GOP primary debate watch party.
Wednesday, August 23rd at Dave & Buster's.
It's free to attend, but space is limited.
Register at 971talk.com/events.
Just a young gun with a quick fuse. I was uptight, wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old life behind.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
I lived through McCarthyism, which was very, very bad. This is worse because this affects the future. You know, our young people are being told due process doesn't matter. Free speech doesn't matter. Just get Trump. You talk about being denied various rights. He's being denied the right to counsel. Let me tell you why. There's this group of leftist lawyers called the 65 Project, which is committed to going after any lawyer who represents Donald Trump.
So there's Alan Dershowitz, a great legal mind, commenting very often on these political things. Alan Dershowitz represented President Trump in, was it Indictment number 1?
Yeah, I mean, he's been around. Dershowitz has been around forever. He was actually one of my professors in law school. But
really?
He represented Klaus von Bülow back in the day, terrorists in the 1970s. I mean, that guy's never found a controversial case he didn't want to be a part of. But yeah, he's been out front and open about this Trump stuff. The fact that leftists are going after Trump's lawyers, the fact that there's just been this never-ending stream of indictments. I mean, I think he's right on all those issues.
So we're speaking with Will Scharf. He's in studio with us right now. He's a former federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of Missouri. Also a former policy director for the Missouri Governor's Office, and he worked on the confirmations of Justice Brett Kavanaugh and Justice Amy Coney Barrett. He's also a candidate for Missouri Attorney General, and we're asking him about the Biden controversies, but also now we're going to talk to him about the Trump indictments, especially the one that we anticipate coming very soon. If you missed the first segment, we broke down the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden corruption situation, so you can rewind on Odyssey to get that. Will, when you are watching in the same light that Dershowitz is talking about there, this political persecution being taken out through the Justice Department of Donald Trump, he's got 3 indictments so far. We expect the 4th one to be coming any day now from Georgia. What should voters know about what is happening right now to Donald Trump?
Sure. And so just to recap, the first indictment against President Trump was brought by Alvin Bragg, far leftist prosecutor in New York. Its legal experts across the political spectrum have said that indictment is weak. It should have never been brought. They're basically trying to turn state misdemeanor records violations into some sort of federal election law violation. It doesn't work legally.
So while we're going through each of these, you're giving us a recap. Is he going to be convicted on that?
It's a New York court, and it's going to be a New York jury. I don't want to make predictions there, but I think that case is just so weak that it's tough to see how that ends in any actual legal peril for President Trump.
Okay.
It's important to note Alvin Bragg's background, though. This is a guy who came into office saying that he was going to get President Trump, and then they strung together this absurd legal theory to indict him in New York. I think we're seeing a similar dynamic play out in Georgia now, where Fani Willis, who's the Fulton County DA down in Georgia, she's a political actor. She's I'd call her a far leftist. She's been saying that they're going to get Trump on 2020 election-related charges for a while, and now it seems like they are, based on public reports, they're trying to allege essentially a criminal conspiracy to alter the results of that election based on some actions that members of President Trump's team made in the aftermath of the 2020 election in Georgia. Again, I think it's a tenuous case. I think it's a very, very weak case legally. It's a case that uses a wildly overbroad, expansive view of Georgia's state RICO statute, but it follows this trend we've seen of far-left prosecutors walking over coals, jumping over pits, doing whatever they need to do just to string together a case against Trump so that they can say that they've indicted Trump.
I just had in my mind how much fun it would be to play like a Super Mario Brothers game, but where Donald Trump is Mario, and then he's just being thrown all these legal challenges in the midst. Like you're talking about all of the things. If they can throw it at him, if they can reach it, they're going to chuck it. And Donald Trump, so far politically, has evaded it and legally has evaded it, but they continue to mount.
Well, and the scary thing is that, at the end of the day, this is the politicization of law enforcement. This is the politicization of prosecution. And it could result in President Trump, a former president of the United States of America, currently a leading candidate to be president of the United States of America, being sent to prison. I mean, that's what happens when you politicize law enforcement, when you take what's supposed to be a fair, open, unbiased process and weaponize it for political purposes. I've said before, I'll say it again, it's a very, very scary development in American legal history, and I hope it ends.
So we're speaking with Will Scharf here in studio. He is a former federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of Missouri. He's also a candidate for Missouri Attorney General. Will, when people watch these different indictments pile up, they're asking themselves, it's hard for someone like me to keep the details all separate from each one. I was reading this weekend articles from, I believe it was The Hill was one of them. I think Axios was another. These are not like super far right-wing publications, I would say, or not super pro-Trump ones. But they were talking specifically about the Georgia case. And they were saying that Fani Willis? Willis. I was going to say Weiss, but I'm like, I think that's one of the other cases. Fani Willis is going to present evidence that shows that Donald Trump's legal team was gaining access to the voting systems in Georgia, I believe on January 7th of 2021. And that there was a suggestion to Rudy Giuliani, a message to him, and he's like, don't tie me to this stuff. And he was throwing Sidney Powell under the bus. So I know these names, they're part of a lot of conversations we've had over the last 3 years. What is the actual allegation of what Trump's lawyers were doing with those voting systems in Georgia?
So we won't know unless and until an indictment's actually returned, because grand jury proceedings are secret. What it seems like they're alleging, though, is an effort by people working with President Trump, and they need to show that President Trump was involved in these efforts, obviously, to indict him, an effort by them to overturn valid results of the 2020 election. Now, it's important to note in the context of both that case and the case that's been brought against President Trump by Jack Smith, the federal special counsel in Washington, D.C., that if President Trump and his team thought that there'd been election fraud, if they thought that what they were actually doing was uncovering corruption in the 2020 election, that's basically an absolute defense to all of these charges. So the left keeps saying that they don't want to relitigate the 2020 election, that's
stuff.
Well, they keep saying that's, it's open and shut. That's a closed case. What they're actually doing by bringing these cases the way that they have is giving President Trump and his team an opportunity to do exactly that, to relitigate aspects of the 2020 election that a lot of people have pointed to as highly irregular, as potentially fraudulent. That's the minefield that they're walking into. And again, I think it really shows the depths that the left is willing to sink to get President Trump, that in their view, any step is justified if it gets them closer to getting him. And that's just the wrong way to go about law enforcement.
So we're speaking with Will Scharf here in studio, a great legal analyst. I encourage you to follow him on Twitter at Will Scharf, SCHARF. And you put out wonderful threads that kind of simplify these things, at least to the way that I can even understand. I have a question for you. It's a political question that leads into a legal response. And I've heard legal minds say, kind of similar to what you were just saying there, that Donald Trump really believed what he's been saying about the election, that becomes a legal defense for him. I am watching him as a voter, somebody who would, especially from where I'm sitting right now behind a microphone, love nothing more than to report on the re-election of Donald Trump. Like that would just be the most entertaining thing for me to do. And I think it would be good for the country. The question I have is, can he get there? I believe that Donald Trump hurts himself when he is going to broaden the tent by constantly talking about the 2020 election and constantly doubling down and tripling and quadrupling down on his idea that the 2020 election was stolen. I think it's politically disadvantageous for him to do that. But I've heard enough legal analysts allude to the fact that his belief in what he is talking about is a great defense for what he is potentially being indicted for. And I'm wondering, is there a connection with his repetition of the idea the election was stolen? Is there any possibility that the reason why he continues to do that is because it subsidizes a strong legal defense?
I think that President Trump is a man not known for mincing his words. I think he speaks his mind. And I wouldn't really look into his statements on the 2020 election as anything more than a sincere belief in the stuff that he's said pretty consistently since the election. In terms of it being a legal defense, I mean, that's exactly right, that they need to, at the end of the day, show a culpable state of mind, a culpable mens rea in lawyer speak, to string together these conspiracy charges against President Trump. They need to show that he had a specific intent to defraud the American people, to overturn something that he knew was a valid election. If that's not what he believed, then he can't be prosecuted under these theories that have been put forth both by special counsel Jack Smith and now likely by Fani Willis as well. And I think that he's entitled to present a defense. It's obviously core to the American legal system that the defendant gets to have his day in court. And I think all of these days in court that President Trump is going to have, they're going to make him look better, not worse over time, as these cases against him, I believe, collapse under their own weight.
Will we have conclusions? We potentially will have 4 indictments. I guess there could be more that are coming down. Who knows what else they're going to throw against the wall and see what sticks. In any of these cases, do you expect them to be concluded before Election Day.
Well, you know, Jack Smith, the federal special counsel, has sort of stood up and pounded his chest and said, we're ready to take these cases to trial immediately. They've tried to push a very, very aggressive calendar. They wanted to schedule this D.C. case for trial in January of 2024, literally right as voters start to go to the polls. They tried to schedule the documents case in Florida for December of 2023. In actuality, though, these are highly complicated cases. In the Florida documents case alone, the special counsel's office has already turned over 800,000 pages of documents, 9 months of video recordings, terabytes and terabytes of data. The idea that in any fair world these cases would be rushed to trial, that just doesn't scan. That just doesn't seem right. As somebody who's dealt with a lot of cases, none as complex as these. My guess is that after these legal defenses start to be presented in these different cases, that these trials are going to get pushed back and back and back. And my suspicion is that we will not have resolution on some or all of these cases by the time voters go to polls in November of 2024. And I think that's the plan, that when President Trump talks about these prosecutions being election interference, I think that's what he's really talking about, that these folks on the left, these prosecutors who I believe are acting with political motives and political intent, they want President Trump to be on trial for his life, while he's also making the case to voters that he should be back in the White House. And I just think that's wrong.
Will Donald Trump's ability to campaign to win the presidency be hindered? His ability to speak, to be present wherever he wants to on the campaign trail as we march towards November 2024, will he be hindered in his ability to do that? Well,
so he will be in two possible ways. First, in this D.C. prosecution, Jack Smith's team tried to get the court to sign off on one of the most restrictive gag orders that I think is just about possible. I mean, it would have prevented President Trump from talking about just about anything. In fact, the judge there, who's an Obama-appointed, liberal judge, she went the other way on that and wouldn't sign off on this incredibly restrictive gag order that the special counsel's team was pushing. But just the logistics of it are complicated. I mean, if President Trump were to go to trial on any of these cases during election season, I mean, he might have to be physically present in a courtroom, potentially for months at a time. Of course, that's going to interfere with his ability to go out and make his case to voters.
Real quick here, the strongest case they have against Donald Trump and the weakest.
I mean, I think they're all flawed on their face. I think the New York case is incredibly weak. I think there are serious legal flaws in both the documents case in Florida and this D.C. January 6 related case. I think there have been plenty of legal experts who have just picked apart these cases left and right. I think the New York case is probably the weakest. I think they're all fatally flawed, though, and I expect we'll see more of the same when this Georgia case is finally unveiled to the public.
Will Scharf, will you come back? Because I have hours of questions to still ask you.
Always happy to join you all. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you very much for being here. We're really grateful for it. He's a former federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of Missouri. He is a former policy director for the Missouri Governor's Office. He worked on confirmations of Justices Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett, and he is a candidate for Missouri Attorney General. You will do yourself a favor to follow him on Twixter, or whatever it's called these days, at Will Scharf. In studio with us now. You can rewind on the Odyssey app to the beginning of the show. We've been with him the whole time so far. Will, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Let's stick around because Wiggins America and his Monday Roundup coming up next.
They say you're basic, they say you're easy. You're always riding in the backseat. Now I'm smiling from the stage while you were clapping in the nosebleeds.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today, based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
This is the best kind of tease to do. There's a big announcement coming up at 2:05. If you listen to this show, you should pay attention at 2:05. Be here for it because we have a nice big announcement coming up to give to you. Also, we're going to give away Cardinals tickets at some point today, so keep listening. It's 12:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
More than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio each month for news, weather, and emergency information. A new bill in Congress would make sure AM radio remains in cars, because when cell and internet services are down, this free service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to support the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Are we one of your top presets?
You were giving off that vibe, so if you want to take it to that level.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Air Comfort Service, you find them easily online at aircomfortservice.com. Make sure that your phone number for their phone number is programmed into your phone so that when the time hits, you know who to call. Because it's not really something that we think too far ahead of, unless you're one of those smart ones. 314-513-0091. I'm talking about the people who actually plan to have a maintenance check done on their HVAC system so that you can avoid a lot of those expensive repairs that end up costing you because you weren't prepared in the first place. Air Comfort Service can offer you great deals on having those checks done. A $54 AC service right now. In the past few months, as they've flown by without thinking about your air conditioner, it's been pumping out the cold air. It's been keeping you nice and cool and comfortable. You would still want to make sure that it is working at top notch with the efficiency that you've paid for it to work. Have them come out and offer you that $54 HVAC system check. Unlike a lot of heating and cooling companies, Air Comfort Service checks your entire system, not just the AC, because it's summer, and that's why they call it a whole system check. Reach out to them at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091 and schedule your system check today. aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Full moon shining bright. Edge of the water, we were feeling all
Follow
right.
Annie on Twitter
Back down
at
a
Annie
country
Frey Show.
road. The girls are always hot and the beer is ice cold. Cadillac, horns on the hood. My buddy Wiggins.
Monday Roundup.
Love it. Here we go. If it didn't happen in this segment, it didn't happen at all. Here's what you missed this weekend. Some Chicago Walgreens stores are blasting classical music to deter loitering now. The spokesperson for Walgreens added that the retailer is taking steps to ensure that the music is only loud enough for the immediate area around the store and cannot be heard in surrounding neighborhoods. But critics are saying, quote, it works for all the wrong reasons. Author of the book Music in American Crime Prevention and Punishment said that it just basically moves criminals off of Walgreens property to other areas.
There was a convenience store recently. I remember reading the story because I found it to be amusing, that was having the problem with a lot of loitering, homeless people that would just be laying all around there, and they were playing Africa by Toto over and over, like on repeat, loudly.
That is my 6-year-old son's favorite song.
Well, he might be sleeping there.
Yes.
Because he can get all of it there.
That's what some people are saying, is that they actually like that they're playing classical music loudly. And this critic says the music is just moving the problem. It's being used to demarcate space and tell certain people that this is not your place. You need to leave. Which seems to me like it's not a criticism, but is the entire point of doing it. And it's not certain people, it's people. Anybody, they don't want people loitering. And it's not like a certain group that they don't want. They just don't want people hanging out in front of their store for no reason. So it doesn't make any sense to me that there would be criticism of it. It seems like a good idea to me that's happening in Chicago right now. Taylor Swift has energized the Los Angeles economy. The headline being, quote, she brought us the trickle-down effect. According to a report by the California Center for Jobs and the Economy, the singer's 6-night stint, 6 nights at SoFi Stadium, brought an estimated $320 million bump to the Los Angeles County's GDP, including $160 million for local businesses. It also said the employment is believed to have increased by 3,300 during that time period. The best quote, though, and the reason that I even brought this up for you guys, is that the person they're talking to says, I feel like I should donate to Taylor Swift because she brought us the trickle-down effect. I thought that trickle-down economics didn't work.
Well,
but apparently,
trickle-down economics is this is a capitalistic version of that. This is not Reagan's trickle-down economics in any way, shape, or form. This has been a story. This has been a repetitive story over and over and over again. When she was in Philadelphia, every hotel room was booked. People are enjoying the fruits of her labor in many, many ways. Every single place she goes. The stadiums have been so loud that they've set off Richter scales.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. When she was in LA, there was a story I just read recently. I'm so fascinated by it. I don't ever get into my car and be like, I'm going to turn on some Taylor Swift music. I like her music. If it comes on and my kids like it, if it comes on, I'm happy to listen to it. I'm not really ever seeking it out. But the businesswoman that Taylor Swift is just incredibly fascinating to me. In LA, there was a kind of a negative story that was done. I think I saw it on like a short or something like that. And they were saying that there are people who live within thousands of feet of, is it SoFi Stadium in LA? Mm-hmm. And they were complaining that when her concert, it's like a 3-hour concert, and when it's going on, it's so loud that you can hear it in their houses, and their house actually vibrates with the sound and the magnitude of what's coming from that concert. And I'm like, this is like being by an airport and being like, those darn planes after 10 p.m.
Well,
like, if you're gonna live in the footprint of a massive stadium that fits tens of thousands of people in it, it's kind of par for the course.
But
like if the Super Bowl was there, would you be like, keep it down? Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, wouldn't it be every event? If they were all like that, you'd hear it all the time. But they're saying this is unique to her events. So maybe hers are louder.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
The loudest concert I've ever been to was Metallica at Gateway International Raceway. It was so deafening that I was working next door. I wasn't even at the concert. I was working at the golf course next door to it, and you couldn't hear each other from me to you, Brad, or me to you, Annie, talking at a loud volume.
That's insane.
It was crazy loud. I can't even imagine being in the stadium for it. All right, that's number 2. Number 3, RFK Jr. backs a 15-week federal ban on abortion, then reverses himself. The campaign came out and said, today, Mr. Kennedy misunderstood a question. So I'm going to read to you what he said. Tell me if you think this is him just misunderstanding a question. Kennedy said to NBC News, "I believe a decision to abort a child should be up to the woman during the first 3 months of life," but added, "Once a child is viable outside the womb, I think then the state has an interest in protecting the child." He said he would sign a federal ban on abortion after 15 weeks or 21 weeks of pregnancy if he were elected president. But then his campaign came out and said, he misunderstood the question.
Sounds to me like he gets the best of both worlds.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Politically.
It does, because he's saying things amazingly to me as I read this story. He's saying things that are rather common sense.
Edward says, does RFK Jr. realize which primary he's running in? I don't know that Americans understand which primary he's running in. And I think that might be on purpose. I mean, to understand that you're not going to know everything that this guy says when he's running for president based on the party affiliation that he's running for. It seems to me like that is the type of politician that Americans have been clamoring for. And if he's going to go out and say something that is unpopular with the, quotes, base of said party, don't we want dynamic candidates? Or maybe we don't. Maybe we should just elect a party for the presidency and then let the party pick who it is. Think about that.
You mean like a shell of a person, like in there as representative of the party?
I'm saying maybe you go, here's the Republican platform, here's the Democrat platform. I mean, because I'm not actually suggesting that we do this, but I'm saying that's what people are kind of advocating for. Do you want a Republican to win or a Democrat to win? Go vote for the party, or an independent. Go vote for the party, and then the parties, after they have won, get to pick who they think will do it best. Can you imagine? No, it'd be the stupidest thing ever, but that's essentially what we're saying. You don't need to listen to what people actually have to say if you know what the party's already supposed to stand for, unless you actually do care about the individual in that case. All right, Rachel Campos-Duffy in the next hour, and at 2:05, huge 97.1 announcement right here on the Annie Frey Show.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands to treat ED at up to 95% off. That's right, the same active ingredient as the brand name for 95% less. It's the same ED medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Buying and selling a home in the Illinois side of the river is made simple, even in this climate, with Jen Teskey and RE/MAX Alliance. Jen is top-notch, understanding the market and giving you the tough love that you might need, but also the information that is absolutely necessary to help you position your home for the best possible sale in the right amount of time for the exact right amount that you've been looking for, trying to achieve. What you might need to do to tweak your home a little bit so it presents itself in its best light, even if sometimes that's not exactly what you wanted to hear. She knows. She's the expert. Her team, she has a whole team behind her that makes sure that she is accessible, that makes sure that the advice, the questions that you're seeking out answers to are attended to. Jen Teskey is who you've been looking for your home sell and also for your home buying purchase. It's a crazy market. You need to make sure that you have the best, and the best is Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance. 618-541-1010. 618-541-1010. JenTeskeyHomes.com.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long. And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect.
And now, try Babbel free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com. BEL.com. Babbel.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A grim search continues in Hawaii. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. At a White House briefing set to begin soon, the FEMA chief will give an update on the deadliest wildfire in modern U.S. history. At least 96 people killed now on Maui, where fires spread quickly in strong winds, but the initial cause remains under investigation.
Over the weekend, a class action lawsuit was filed against Hawaiian Electric. That's the main power provider here. It alleges that they didn't de-electrify their lines and ignored weather warnings, saying that they kept electricity flowing even when there are high winds and high fire danger, and this was what caused the fires. Hawaiian Electric, in a statement to Fox News, stated that they're not going to comment on pending litigation and that they are focused on providing electricity once again to the west side of the island.
Fox Weather's Max Gordon on Maui. State officials also facing questions about the timing and scope of alerts given to residents. Hundreds remain listed as missing. More temperature records could fall this week, with the Pacific Northwest under an excessive heat warning. NASA just confirming the hottest July on record worldwide as part of a hot year.
It is virtually certain, over 99% chance, that 2023 will rank among the 5 warmest years on record.
And government scientist Dr. Sarah Kapnick with NOAA says there's a nearly 50% chance it'll be the warmest year on record. A Montana judge just ruling in favor of young environmental activists who accuse state agencies of violating their constitutional rights by not allowing agencies to evaluate the effects of greenhouse gas emissions when considering requests for fossil fuel permits. The state argued even zero carbon dioxide emissions in Montana would have no impact on a global scale because of other emissions from states and countries. A grand jury is meeting in Georgia hearing evidence of possible election interference by then President Trump, who says it's another effort by investigators to interfere in the 2024 election. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The unsettled weather is gone. Partly sunny skies going through our Monday afternoon. It's going to be a little windy from the northwest, but can't complain about the temperatures. 82. Tonight, partly cloudy, 70s for evening plans. It's cool overnight, and let's keep the winds up, especially during the evening. 62 for the overnight low. Tuesday, partly sunny, delightful, 75 degrees. Wednesday, sunny and 82. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Retirement Advisory Group is there to help you make sure that retirement is accessible for you, and that when you get to that age of 59 and a half years of or older, and you are thinking, okay, retirement is right around the corner, are you going to be prepared to make that transition? It's saving and saving and saving. You sacrifice quite a bit in order to be able to go into retirement through the decades that you spend your time working. You get to that age real close to 60, and all of a sudden everything changes. You're going to need to be able to draw on that retirement, and you're going to want to be able to live the retirement you've always dreamed of. Enter the Retirement Advisory Group. Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw and Tammy Kershaw are there to make sure that that transition suits you the best it possibly can. That gives you that worry-free retirement you've dreamt of. You can call to schedule an appointment at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494, and talk to them about your worry-free retirement today. You can find them online at retirementkey.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco.
president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness 101 for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness 101. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We are Under Law, your St. Louis legal powerhouse. Auto accidents, work injuries, pharmaceutical litigations, we do it all.
Under Law. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
Sex trafficking occurs every day right here in Missouri. Healing Action is providing life-saving resources to survivors in our community. Kim St. here. 97.1 is supporting Healing Action as part of our Conservatives Care mission. Learn more at 971talk.com/care.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Tonight, an increased security presence outside the Fulton County Courthouse ahead of a potential charging decision this week by District Attorney Bonnie Willis.
We're ready. Obviously, we're concentrating on Georgia and things that impacted Georgia.
At the center of Willis's 2.5-year investigation, this phone call by then-President Donald Trump to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger in the days before January 6th, seeking to potentially overturn the 2020 election.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
So that is a clip, and I need to keep playing this because that's not where that clip ended. That Donald Trump quote has been used many, many times to try to persuade people who hear it to hear that as, I don't care what you do. Find me these votes. Dig them up. Make them happen. Do what you got to do, but I need those votes. Here's more from that report
on
from
his
Nicole.
Truth Social platform Sunday. Trump called it a perfect phone call.
Did you intend to overturn the 2020 election? You know the answer.
And at a stop this weekend at the Iowa State Fair, where the former president tried to show up Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, he was peppered with questions about a possible 4th indictment.
I don't do plea deals. We did nothing wrong. We don't ever take a plea deal. Yes, sir. We don't take plea deals. It's a wise guy question.
It's a wise guy question. Did you hear the way that this CBS reporter, Nicole Killian, reported on Donald Trump's traveling to Iowa where he tried to show up Ron DeSantis? I don't want to sleep on the idea that at the beginning of this, the CBS reporter didn't call her Fanny. Listen to this.
Tonight, an increased security presence outside the Fulton County Courthouse ahead of a potential charging decision this week by District Attorney Bonnie Willis.
Fanny.
Oh, Fanny.
Fanny. And if I was named Fanny, I would want to be called Fawny, too.
Yeah, Fawny and Clyde.
So, anywho, a little bit more from this report from Nicole Killian talking about the Georgia indictments that are likely to come down soon this week. I don't know.
CBS News has learned several witnesses have been subpoenaed to appear before the grand jury, including former GOP Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan and independent journalist George Cheedy, who both said they will testify Tuesday.
Have you been asked to testify before the grand jury this week?
If I am called, when I am called, I will go and do what I did before. I will tell the truth.
Gabe Sterling is a top deputy with the Secretary of State.
We've been saying this over and over again. We counted the ballots 3 times. He lost this state, and he continued to say he didn't lose it, and it's just creating a lot of tension and a lot of chaos.
Security is expected to remain tight this week. The sheriff says his office has received dozens of threats against the district attorney and other officials here in Fulton County.
So the idea behind what's going to happen in Georgia has to do with people who are involved in Donald Trump's orbit. The indictments won't just include Donald Trump. They will include maybe a dozen people, if not more. And so we sit here and we wait and see what happens. The usage of that clip from the phone call from Donald Trump to the Secretary of State that happened, I don't know, was it November, December, after the election? It's neither here nor there whether or not what Donald Trump believed, what he was told happened. It's neither here nor there whether ultimately those things were proven to be right or wrong. I mean, it matters, but not for the context of the point that I'm making. Donald Trump believed that there were multiple instances that involved different details where ballots were cast and counted that shouldn't have been counted. He believed that there was fraud in a multitude of ways. In that full phone call, which I have listened to in its entirety, in that full phone call, what Donald Trump is saying is that if you take what I know to be fraud case A, I'm making these numbers up. There are 60,000 ballots in question if fraud case A is to come through. Fraud case B, there are 100,000 ballots that could be in question. Fraud case C, there are 18,000 ballots that could be in question. What Trump is saying in that phone call is, I don't need you to prove all of these cases to be true. I just need you to find me 11,000 and change votes, and this election is turned. That's where that clip comes from. That's the context that surrounds his clip of, go find me these votes. He's saying if A and B are difficult to prove, don't even bother with those, because if you can prove C, it's going to change the outcome of this election. Now, I'm not here to say that fraud case A, fraud case B, or fraud case C are good on their merits or anything. I don't think that Donald Trump has ever served his purposes the way he intended to with the way that he talked about what happened in Georgia. And I actually think that his rhetoric and his behavior cost us the United States Senate after we lost the presidency. So I'm not here judging the merits of fraud case A and fraud case B and fraud case C. I'm judging every single malintended individual who takes that clip that suggests, when it's removed from its context, that Donald Trump was asking the Georgia Secretary of State and the people in that phone call to manifest votes so he could then steal the election. That's not factually what he was saying. That is disingenuous at best when that is put out there for people to consume as information. He was not saying to Georgia, make the votes up, fill out the ballots, do whatever you have to do, but I need 11,000 and change votes. That's not what he was saying. You could believe that he was a Looney Tune for thinking fraud case A and fraud case B and fraud case C existed and that he would be wrong in that, but you could believe that to be true and at the same time believe that he wasn't asking Georgia to manufacture votes so that he could then win that election. It's an important distinction based in facts and context that nobody ever seems to talk about, and I don't understand why. I remember listening to the whole conversation on the treadmill right after it happened because it was a big bombshell story. And I listened to the whole thing and I'm like, good grief, the context here matters incredibly, but nobody seems to care about that.
It's also putting him in the unique circumstance where he has to continue to talk about these things. And maybe that's part of the game plan, is that he has to keep talking about it and they want him to keep talking about it. I don't know. But I think it was Will Scharf, maybe some others I've heard were saying that that he's going to have to produce now. That now, by making him focus on these things, and maybe the cases didn't go the way you wanted them to in 2020 and 21, but now you're going to have to relitigate these things. So it's a weird position that he's in, where he is going to have to move on and talk about 2024, but everything that's being thrown into his lap is about 2020.
Scooter comments, Trump was telling Georgia to disallow ballots, 11,700 of them. That's his 2 cents. Yeah, Scooter, that is in fact in conjunction with what I was just saying, which is if let's just use even numbers. If he needed 12,000 Trump votes to win Georgia, then that means if 12,000 Biden votes were discounted, he would win Georgia. He needs a 12,000 swing one way or the other.
Yeah.
The deficit is 12,000. He needs that many to win Georgia. So Scooter and anybody who's listening to me right now, explain the point that I'm trying to make about the phone call clip specific. This is a micro assessment of what the media is doing and pushing into the conversation so that people can flippantly, well, why did he say he wanted him to find votes? If Donald Trump truly believed that there were multiple instances of fraud and all of the legal challenges that would amount with all of those individual cases of fraud taking place, then maybe B and C would be very difficult to prove. We've seen crimes be committed where it's difficult to nail it down to the person who did the crime. It happens all the time in our court legal system. What can I prove? What do I got on lock? What am I going to take to the court, to the judge, to the jury, so that I can convict this guy or that I can win this case? And if you have multiple cases of fraud, if you're Donald Trump and you believe there are multiple cases of fraud that exist, and you know that A is as easy as it can possibly be to prove, and you only need 12,000 votes, then don't even entertain the conversation about B and C, which is what Trump was telling the Secretary of State. Go find me 12,000 votes. That's all I need. I don't need you to go pursue these other things. And maybe, like I said, you might be listening to this and you might think that Donald Trump is the biggest, fattest liar that has ever been and that he made up all of these things. Yes, you can have that be true and still understand that the phone call conversation was not him saying, you're a Republican, I'm a Republican, and what you're going to do is you're going to get 12,000 votes swung to my side. I don't care where you get them from. Fabricate them, make them up. We don't care if we're stealing this election, air quotes, back. That's what you're going to go do. Donald Trump believed and still believes that fraud existed and that whatever 12,000 votes you think you can win, those are the ones you go after. Go find them. It's that simple.
Yeah, what you're saying is very clear. It's not really up for debate. You're talking about, and everybody remembers it. That's what's so important, is that we all live this together. It's not as if you're going, oh, this is happening in a back room somewhere. This was the 2020 election. Everybody's paying attention to it. We all remember it. He was looking at several cases in Georgia, and any one of them, if found to be true, would have flipped the vote total. And he was commenting on, I don't even need all of them to be true. I just need one, and here's the number. If you just find one of those cases, then we're good. And any one of them could have been.
The frustrating thing that mounts with any of these election fraud news stories that come out is that I believe in any election, there are instances of fraud or negligence, malicious intent or negligence and ignorance, who knows, on that spectrum. But I do believe in any election, you're going to have instances of that. The case that a lot of people bring up, North Carolina, South Carolina, one of the Eastern Coast states, in the last maybe 6 years, prosecuted a Republican who did it. So, to suggest that this doesn't happen is stupid.
Oh, yeah.
We know that it happens. When in 2020, you're in a pandemic and all of the stops that are put in to try to make sure that everything is streamlined are removed so that more people can access voting in an uncertain time, the idea that fraud would exist becomes a more apt suggestion, and I think it's something that we should be looking at very closely. So anytime any of these stories come out, when I see the narrative media, the agenda-driven media, clipping those sound bites and not presenting them for what they are, it makes me question everything. And I question it from both sides. I think that there are Republican claims that are made on a regular basis with the most fervent conviction that make people sound like Looney Tunes. But I see with my own eyes concerns that arise in other scenarios that make me go, I'd like to know more about that. We should dig deep and find all the facts on this so that the facts can speak for themselves and not the pundits continue to speak for it. Because when the pundits get a hold of information like that phone call and decide to pull out a section of it that makes Donald Trump look particularly bad, I would agree, out of context, even if you reported on it in context, there's still the open possibility that you could criticize Donald Trump and what he was doing there if you reported on it in good faith towards the facts. Like, it's not like if you reported on that conversation in context with the truth of what was actually taking place there, that I could still see how the left would want to dunk on him for that. But when you take it and you morph it into a one-clip context, I don't trust anything about it. And then I sit here and I go, well, I think that the resolve that I have on all of these instances is that I just don't trust anything from anybody. And that makes me incredibly skeptical. And when I'm skeptical, I think it makes you less, you have to become super skeptical, but then you have to move into a fact-finding mission of your own so that you can be educated on it. If you just live in full-on total skeptic, I think that that is an ignorant place to be as well. The burden is on the American voter like it's never been before. Because the people out there who have your ears and have your eyes, and I know that there are people listening who are saying, Annie, you're the exact same. I come to you from my perspective. I have a perspective on the world. I have a foundation of who I am and what I come from. I think I'm pretty open about that. But yes, when I speak to you, I'm coming from me, where I come from. There's nothing that is provided to me to tell you or to report from. But me being as skeptical as likely you are, and many of you being even more skeptical than I am, what a burden that is on the American individual voter right now to get to the bottom of the truth. Because who do you trust to do it for you? You can't.
Yeah. And this is another case of media malpractice, because if you could, this is what the media is supposed to do. There are people whose job it is to look into these things and present these things as facts to you and say, here, you decide. And they just haven't. They've left it to the dark web to try to find answers to these questions.
Well, let's take a quick break here. Rachel Campos-Duffy is going to join us when we come back. Excited to have her back here on the Annie Frey Show. She's the co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend, a Fox News contributor as well. And I love getting her perspective as a mother, as somebody who's paying attention to things from kind of some of the similar positions that I am. Rachel Campos-Duffy joins us when we return. And a huge announcement at 2:05 for 97.1 right here on the Annie Frey Show. Don't go away.
When I was young.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
My only son.
Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
To what I say. And if you do this, it'll help you some sunny day.
Centric Security and Automation, easy to find online at centricstl.com. That's Centric with a C. They helped support us in our trip when we went to the southern border. And while it is our government's job to protect our borders, Centric Security makes it their goal to protect your business and the people inside with a state-of-the-art access control system, a video surveillance system, and monitored security systems. If you are in charge of making the decision to make sure your business, your building, your people, your intellectual property, the hardware that you have inside of your business or your office building. Centric Security and Automation is there to make this incredibly affordable and simple for you to pursue. They're located right here in the St. Louis area, and they are nationally known and respected when it comes to this type of security. If you're looking for access control, if you want to be able to make sure you have a record of who's coming and going in your business, make it as simple as something that's used on your mobile phone so you don't have a lot of extra apparatus that individuals need to carry to make sure your systems, your building is secure. They are there to help you through this process. 314-442-6860. 314-442-6860. Centric Security and Automation online at centricstl.com.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
You're hearing a commercial I set out for, and I wish I would have done this years ago, because I mean the trade, we're so done in trades because we're just getting brutalized by the working class. But if you want great service as quick as we can get to you, like we're busy, and reasonable prices, if you call me, I would not waste your time. You will get equipment that will heat and cool your home. If you're looking for a furnace or air conditioner, it broke down, or you just need service, call me. Bart Inman. Again, it's Bart Inman, and with one really easy number, Missouri and Illinois. There's only one number for Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600, or the internet. Well, that was a large breath. The internet. BartInman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns? The IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify and receive your free tax assessment by dialing 800-210-1005. If you or your business owe back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-210-1005. 800-210-1005. That's 800-210-1005.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to 20% on a new HVAC system when you bundle it with attic insulation. 9 out of 10 homes are under insulated. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Dr. Miriam Grossman is with us. She's a child psychiatrist.
Gender ideology is exactly that. It's an ideology. It's not based in medicine. It's not based in science.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
The
Lahaina fire is now the deadliest fire in the U.S. in more than a century. The official death toll reached 93 and is expected to rise as recovery continues. Officials say only 2 of those fatalities have been identified. Hawaii's governor says the losses are nearing $6 billion, with more than 2,000 structures damaged or destroyed.
So, have you been observing the fires that are taking place in Hawaii? It's so sad and devastating to see, and it's so alarming to know how much devastation has occurred. I think that the last number I saw was 93 dead, and all the reports that continue to come in, they basically say that they haven't even really been able to get in there to count the dead. It's hard to watch. It's hard to take in. Brad, you have been to Hawaii. I haven't been to Hawaii. I'm planning a trip to Hawaii in a couple years. I want to do it right, so I want to give myself the time to properly save so it can be paid for before we go. But I can't imagine the stories we hear about the fires as they spread. People had no choice but to jump into the ocean.
Yeah.
To avoid it.
That to me is just mind-blowing. I've been to Hawaii. I mean, beautiful, gorgeous, but the fact that the fires are moving so fast that they kind of basically just cut you off from every avenue of escape, and then the only thing you got left is the coast.
Yeah.
Is just, I couldn't imagine that.
Well, as the whole world watches, but specifically us here in the United States watch, the tropical paradise that is the state of Hawaii under fire, and we see the ashes that have been left in its wake. It's very difficult to avoid it. And yet the president of the United States was asked about this, and he's sitting on the beach, ironically, on his vacation. And when he's asked about the fires in Hawaii, he has no comment. Is this something that is easily explainable, or is it as reprehensible on the surface as it seems? We're joined now by my friend Rachel Campos-Duffy, a co-host of Fox and Friends Weekends, a Fox News contributor, wife, mom of 9. Rachel, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's good to have you here.
Hi, my friend. So great to be back on with you. Love your show.
Thank you so much. I want to ask you, I've never been to Hawaii. My producer, Brad, was just talking. They went there for their honeymoon, so I haven't seen it up close and personal, but when you're watching what's taking place in Hawaii, it's a huge news story, and you compare that to President Biden's kind of callous, no comment reaction. Is there a reasonable explanation for a no comment like that from the president, or is it as reprehensible as it seems on the surface?
It's reprehensible. It's also mysterious because we know that the shadow government for the Biden administration is Obama. He has a whole team. We've now seen articles coming out about how there is a steady stream of people from the Obama White House, the Obama mansion in D.C., where he never left, to the Biden administration. And he has his people and he has his pet projects, and his people are in place at the Biden White House running all the things that Obama cares about. This tells you a lot about what Obama cares about, which is not his own home state of Hawaii, which is really weird to me. I see my own, co-host, Will Kane, who I love and work with every weekend. Yeah. He, since the 70s, has been going to Hawaii. His parents had a timeshare, like one of those lifelong timeshares that they'd sell back in the 70s. And so he goes to the same place in Hawaii, not just a few minutes away from Lahaina. He goes there every single summer since he was a little boy. And so he doesn't just know the island. He grew up with people who go to the island all the time, knows a lot of the locals, and has known them for, over the course of, almost 30 years or more. And he was just itching. First of all, he was distraught. You could just see it. It was hard for him to concentrate on the show because his heart is in Hawaii. And he actually requested to be sent there, and he flew out yesterday right after this show. In fact, he left a little earlier so he could report from there. He set up a GoFundMe page. Look, he's not the president of the United States. He's just Will Kane from Fox and Friends, but it shows you where his heart is. Barack Obama is from Hawaii, has a home in Hawaii. I guess because his mansion that is, by the way, not in an environmentally safe way, right on the ocean. And none of his neighbors get to do that, but Barack Obama gets to. Since his mansion is safe, he doesn't give a crap about what's going on there because he is literally running the government in a shadow form and could do anything he wanted to do, and even including getting Joe Biden to up the optics, if nothing else, politically speaking.
Yeah,
I don't see it.
It seems like such an easy pitch for President Biden to take, to give a heartfelt thoughts and prayers reaction to somebody asking about what's going on there. I mean, you kind of mentioned that it's peculiar that he wouldn't take that pitch and try to hit it out of the park. He just said no comment. Like, where is he? What is he thinking?
Or send his most famous, popular surrogate to Hawaii to go do something. He could send Barack Obama over there and say, listen, I can't make it. I'm so busy on the beach. I have to get my nap times in. But I've got Barack Obama, who loves your state, who's from there, who's got property there and family there. I'm going to send him there as my point man. You've seen that many times where a politician sends somebody close to the situation there to be his point man. Who better to showcase that? There's such a callousness. They're so focused on their ideology. I guarantee you they're way more worried about keeping the Iran deal alive from the Barack Obama standpoint and the Ukraine war alive from the Biden point of view than they are with anything going on the Hawaiian Island.
Yeah. We're speaking with Rachel Campos-Duffy. She's a co-host of Fox and Friends Weekends, along with Will Kane, who is in Hawaii reporting from there. Rachel, we ask this question as a poll question on our show every other couple weeks. And the question is, will Joe Biden be the actual nominee for the Democratic Party? I can't see a scenario where this ends with him still actually running for re-election. What do you think that Joe Biden's future plans are, at least as far as November 2024 is concerned?
Well, I think if Barack Obama had his way, and I'm sorry I'm obsessing about it, but it's very clear that he is running this thing. I think he would like to keep Joe Biden in place. And I think if they had wanted anybody else, they would have already made those moves. He's been on record and on interviews saying that his preferred in a fantasy world, which has now come true for him, his fantasy would be to be the guy behind the curtain running it, having a third term with somebody else in charge. That's what he's getting. And if you recall, he's always wanted fundamental transformation. What has happened to this country other than fundamental transformation? So I think ideally that's what they would want. There are a couple things that could happen that could interfere with that.
Yeah.
One, Joe Biden's health. He is deteriorating before our eyes. The wheels are coming off of this guy. And so could he deteriorate to a point where even Democrats can't, cover it up anymore, where it's just like, he takes one last tumble that, or he literally has a moment like Mitch McConnell, or multiple moments like Mitch McConnell, where he's, in front of a microphone and can't speak. We could get to that point, and people are scared about the direction of our country, and that could change the situation. The other thing that could happen, and, we could all hold our breath and hope our country still operates the way it's supposed to, but we could get to a point where the Republican investigations that are being led by Representative Comer, which have been a lot more fruitful than a lot of people thought they would be, get to a point where, the corruption is so bad and so blatant and so apparent that he has to step down, in which case they'll put in somebody probably like Newsom or a wild card like Michelle Obama. But honestly, it's really hard to see that that's going to happen, because the amount of blatant corrupt cover-up that's going on, and it's not even cover-up because it's so in our face that you would try and appoint, this guy as a special counsel when it's so obvious that David Weiss has been a loyalist to the Bidens, stopping the whistleblowers from investigating anything that led to Joe Biden, letting statutes of limitations run out on the most serious crimes that Hunter is accused of, and then they have the gall to just say, we're going to make him a special counsel. I mean, it's so in your face corrupt that it shows me they are intent on running this, man who's, not really there as their front guy in order to keep this thing that they've been doing very effectively, this shadow government.
We're speaking with Rachel Campos-Duffy. It is impressive, the brazen nature with which the Biden administration has continued to operate, which means that for Republicans looking to try to change the game in November of 2024, we say this every election, but the stakes are incredibly high. I really believe the Republicans have to come up with a consolidated message. The primary has us incredibly divided right now. Lots can change in the next 400 plus days. What do you think is the winning message for Republicans going into the eventual general election?
You want my honest answer?
I only want your honest answer.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is the only thing, keeping that he stays in it. That, I mean, at this point, we may have people would have to stay strong because we may have a candidate running from jail as if we were, some crazy Latin American country, but that's what we're turning into. By the way, I had a great panel yesterday, Annie, on with a young Venezuelan man and a young Iranian American law student. And the Iranian American law student's grandfather had been almost put in jail and then almost assassinated, I should say, as a political opponent to that regime. And so they escaped. These are people who have seen in their own country the regimes put their their leading opposition candidates in jail or house arrest or had them disappeared or executed. They're terrified what they see here. They can't believe this is happening in this country. So Donald Trump is the only person who has been tested, that he can take the punches, that he won't give up. He'll keep fighting. And I think that he is the best candidate they can put forward. But it's going to take a lot of fortitude on the conservatives together. I think it's going to be they get him in. This is what they want to do. They want to scare. They always, as you know, their goal has been to separate Donald Trump from supporters.
Yeah.
And they thought these statements would turn to DeSantis or turn to other weaker candidates, and it hasn't done that. And now their last card that they're holding is we're going to put him in jail and see how embarrassed you are to support or put out a sign or vote for somebody who's in jail. That is what they're trying to do. But he is the only one who can do it. And I'll tell you, I was really hopeful about DeSantis. I was not like only Trump and, never anybody else. I was hopeful on DeSantis. And it's not just that he's wooden and he's not as good on the trail. It's not even that. When I saw him turn on, he had a position on Ukraine that was sort of against Ukraine war. He was sort of in that direction. And then he said that to Tucker Carlson in his statement. And then he went back home and probably got an earful from the donors. And he went about face on that. And he changed his position on the war in Ukraine, which is one of the worst decisions we've made. It's brought China and Russia together. It's created a situation where we're like slow walking ourselves into nuclear war with Russia when we don't even realize it. It's destabilizing Europe in many ways. It's had huge, massive implications on our budget, on our ability to protect ourselves. We're out of bullets. Some people have always, and I'm not saying I know this for sure, but some people are questioning why wasn't more military deployed? We have tons of bases in Hawaii. Why wasn't more military deployed in the immediate aftermath of this situation on Maui? We don't know the answers to that, but we do know that recruitment is down, our military readiness is down, and our supplies are down, a lot of it because it's going to Ukraine, and we have no transparency. So that position that Ron DeSantis took was a donor position. He changed it for his donors. That was very obvious. And that made me go, nope, he's not the right guy right now. We don't need somebody who's going to take advice from donors. We need somebody strong, tested, who, has had to endure more than any of us could even take a fraction of, and is still standing. And that's why they're afraid of him. They don't go after someone like this the way they're going after Donald Trump unless they're afraid of him. And that should tell us that that's the strongest candidate.
Rachel, before we let you go, do you believe that the American voters will have the fortitude necessary to elect Donald Trump, even given those possible circumstances?
I do, only because I think the situation has become so dire and so unrecognizable to all of us. It just doesn't feel like America anymore.
Yeah. I hear so much of what you're saying and your passion behind it. I know so many other people feel that exact same way, and I know that they appreciate hearing you say it boldly, out loud, honestly, like you said, of course. Rachel Campos-Duffy.
I don't know how to be any other way, Annie. I've tried. It just never worked for me.
That's right, and that's why we love you. Thank you, Rachel, for being here. We appreciate you.
You got it. Thank
right.
you, Annie.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Co-host of Fox and Friends Weekends, a Fox News contributor as well, mom of 9. Is that a resume thing? Because it's incredibly impressive to me. I have 4. It's been referred to as dozens. Imagine having 9. Great to have Rachel Campos-Duffy and her perspective here on the Annie Frey Show. Let's take a quick break. In the 2 o'clock hour, I'm going to remind you of a big 97.1 announcement to make. I'm incredibly excited for it. It's going to have a little visual element to it, so join us on the Annie Frey YouTube, and you can watch it, assuming that we are able to successfully technologically pull it off. We have confidence that we are going to be able to. So you're going to want to be here at 2:05 for that big announcement. 97.1 related, not just the Annie Frey Show related, right here. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
CAJonesInc.com. If you were looking to build a home on the Illinois side of the river, have you met the fine folks at C.A. Jones? These are wonderful people. And of course, the most important thing is that they build wonderful houses. And they are a reputable, reliable company that is easy to work with when you're building a home. It's a stressful situation, like a good stress, hopefully, to build a home, to make all the selections, to make sure that your fingerprints are throughout the home and all the things you choose for your new homestead. But C.A. Jones makes that incredibly simple. Have you ever visited their showroom in Fairview Heights? I have. And when you walk through the different ways that you can, design your kitchen or your living spaces, you get a real feel for how you can personalize each home that is yours that they build at C.A. Jones. They have different blueprints on their website, different homes that you can choose from. If you're looking for small homes, you're looking to downsize, but you want everything to be where you want it to be. Maybe you've got some kiddos that have moved out and you don't need all the space you have right now. Or if you're just looking right now and the inventory out there right now is so low, you're like, maybe there's a house build in my future. You go to CAJonesInc.com and they're going to navigate that process with you. They are incredibly great. They invest in their communities. They also have new build homes for sale on their website right now. Go check it all out at CAJonesInc.com.
It's the greatest pop rock of the 60s and 70s. The Happy Together Tour 2023. Saturday, August 19th, the Family Arena. Starring the Turtles, Little Anthony, Gary Puckett and the Union Gang, the Vogues, the Classics 4, and the Cowsills. Tickets are on sale now at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.
John Michael Montgomery. Live. The multiple Grammy, CMA, and ACM award winner. John Michael Montgomery with McBride and the Ride. Friday, October 20th at the Family Arena. Reserved seats are on sale now at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. John Michael Montgomery, live in concert.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Big station announcement we have the privilege of bringing to you at 2:05. If you're a 97.1 listener, you're going to want to stick around and see what that announcement is at 2:05 here in just a couple minutes. Right now, 1:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Fact-checking the mainstream media daily.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You found it here. 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Did you guys hear about the latest fight for children's rights in the state of Illinois?
Probably. I don't know. No, I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say no as well.
This is from Fortune. I've seen this reported in multiple places, but I wanted to pick a non-local place, a national place to report on it. From Fortune.com. Illinois is the first state in the U.S. to ensure child social media influencers are compensated for their work. According to David Kohler of Peoria, who sponsored a bill that was signed into law and will go into effect on July 1st, 2024. He says the rise of social media has given children new opportunities to earn a profit. Many parents have taken this opportunity to pocket the money while making their children continue to work in these digital environments. So child influencers in the state of Illinois are now having their rights protected by the Illinois legislature from their evil parents. I could see situations where there are awful parents who are essentially slave laboring their children in order to pocket some money. But it makes me wonder if we're going to suggest that the parents should have the rights to make decisions for the children supremely, how does this affect their rights to do that? And I'm not advocating for parents to pocket all the money. I mean, good grief. It's not like child influencers, specifically in the state of Illinois, is unlike child actors in Hollywood or anywhere. And parents, we have seen parents abuse that relationship, of course. That's not to say that that's not existing. Fortune reports the idea for the law, which covers children under the age of 16, featured in monetized online platforms, including video blogs, was brought to Kohler by a 15-year-old in his district. Besides coordinated dances and funny toddler comments, family vlogs nowadays may share intimate details of their children's lives, grades, potty training, illnesses, misbehaviors. For countless strangers to view, brand deals featuring the internet's darlings can reap tens of thousands of dollars per video, but so far, there are minimal regulations for the sharenthood industry, which the experts say can cause serious harm to children. Bobby Altoff, a TikToker with more than 5 million followers, said videos with kids do really well. She used to feature her young daughter in paid advertising, but has since decided not to for privacy reasons. Many states already require parents to set aside earnings for child entertainers who perform in more traditional settings, such as movies and televisions. But Illinois' law will be the first to specifically target social media starlets, according to Landon Jacquinot, who is tracking child labor legislation for the National Conference of State Legislators. What do you guys think about this?
It's just a weird topic in general, and to try to legislate it seems weird too. I mean, just because the topic is so strange, most of these people that are doing this are, I mean, basically using their kids. I mean, unless your kid is a teenager and is participating in it, if you have toddler videos, those people, especially if it's monetized, are using their toddlers to make money, which is, it just feels gross to me. I don't know. I just don't like it.
I would agree. The Illinois law will entitle child influencers to a percentage of earnings based on how often they appear on video blogs or online content that generates at least 10 cents per view. To qualify, the content must be created in Illinois. The kids would have to be featured in at least 30% of the content in a 30-day period. The fact that this is such a new frontier gives me pause as to how you proceed with it. But I definitely have watched videos that people use their children on and question the motives behind that. And, I'm saying this as somebody who, I would probably be considered a social media influencer of a kind, but I have a radio show and we do social media stuff around the radio show, but the radio show is the nexus of all of it. If I'm a social media influencer, it's by happenstance.
Yeah, it's secondary.
My kids have been visible over the course of time, but I'm not making
nobody's saying
content
right.
Like posting a picture of your kid online is one thing. I'm thinking when this legislation is and I think that's who they're targeting, is people who make a sometimes full-time living on creating content at all.
Should that money be the child's?
I don't know. I don't know what to do with that, because if they're young enough, they have no awareness of that this is happening.
Which is maybe why they would need to be protected.
Right. And those are the people that you'd want to protect the most. But then again, if they're teenagers, you'd think that they'd be a little bit more part of the process.
Not necessarily.
But not necessarily, because we've seen that abused in the past. So
it's such an interesting thought, because, the parents are the ones supposed to be the advocate for their child. And in these cases, it would seem that you've got to worry about the parents not being that proper advocate that they need to be. And actually, would this be a form of abuse in using your child to make the money like that? There are so many different things and so many different angles to this. And it's like, if you would ask me, I'm like, I don't know on this.
I cynically believe that this is just an extra way for government to make sure you pay your taxes.
Mm-hmm. In Illinois, you're definitely right.
They're not actually concerned. I don't really care, but this would be a way that we could make sure that Illinois gets their cut.
It's also just another way for them to step into the whole thing. We've seen it abused. But Brad, I think you just hit the reason why it's a weird topic is because you would hope that the parents would be the best advocates for their kids in general. That's the idea.
That relationship has to be protected.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But if it's being abused, we still have laws that say this is where we draw the line.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's right for parents to pimp their kids out for money. And if you were doing that in Hollywood and you were making your kid like a Disney child star or something like that, and the kid got to be 18 years old and was broke, and you were living in the lap of luxury because of that, I'd have a problem with that.
Yeah, totally.
And the other side of that is the internet's forever. That child doesn't get a say in what's being posted on their behalf by their parents.
Yeah.
And that doesn't go away.
They could also change their sex if they wanted to. So
it's Illinois.
Make it make sense. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, it's a new law in Illinois. It's going into effect next summer, and I'm intrigued by it. And I don't trust Illinois to handle it well, but I do think it's a conversation worth having.
Yeah, I do too.
Big announcement in a little bit.
Coming up next.
Also, Cardinals tickets to give away in a little bit.
Coming up right after that.
Don't go away.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Imagine what your backyard could look like once my friends from Chesterfield Fence and Deck have been there. Mark Cox here. Listen, mention my name, mention Mark, and get 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They've been around for 55 years. They are one of St. Louis' top names in home improvements with a commitment to quality and professionalism. And you know that you have their sign in your yard. It's a sign you have the very best. Locally owned and operated for 55 years. They will come to your house, give you a free estimate at no obligation, free project design as well. They'll take measurements. They'll show you all of their product offerings right there at your house, or you can go to their showroom if you need that extra inspiration. But they do fences, they do decks, they do custom sunrooms and screen rooms and pergolas. Take advantage of it. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Go online today and check them out at chesterfieldfence.com.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make...
Unmuted. You're good to go. Check, 1, 2, check. Hello. I'm breaking into the live stream here for a second to tell you that not only do we have this big announcement coming up next, we're telling you, a little bit of exclusive, I guess, kind of, that we're going to do the Cardinals giveaway at between about 2:42 and 2:45, like that break that lands right about there. That's when you'll want to listen to Be the Ninth Caller. Phone number ahead of time, 341-241-9797. We'll give you all that. But that's coming up after the announcement. Oh, shoot, she's back. Go, mute.
GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
There every step of the way. Lisa Brady, Fox News. A briefing on federal help for Hawaii.
The coming days and the weeks, they're going to be tough.
FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell has been on Maui since Saturday, meeting with state officials and survivors of the devastating wildfires.
Nothing can prepare you for what I saw during my time here, and nothing can prepare them for the emotional toll of the impact that this severe event has taken on them.
A search for the missing continues with at least 96 confirmed deaths. Criswell says FEMA is working closely with Hawaii's governor on housing options and that nothing's off the table. Thousands have lost homes. The White House referring questions about the special counsel probe of Hunter Biden to the Justice Department.
I will say this, and you've heard this from the president, is that he loves his son.
Spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre again denying any political interference and adding that a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney is leading the probe. Former President Trump could face another indictment as a grand jury meets in Georgia on election interference allegations. One key witness has been revealed.
On his social media pages, former Georgia Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan says he will testify before the Fulton County grand jury on Tuesday. Duncan saying he's looking forward to answering questions around the 2020 election and that, quote, Republicans should never let honesty be mistaken for weakness. The former president taking to Truth Social to say Duncan shouldn't testify and that he barely knows him.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz in Washington. Trump has pleaded not guilty in 2 federal indictments and a New York case related to hush money payments. He laughed off a question about attending the first Republican primary debate next Wednesday, August 23rd, when Fox News Radio will provide special coverage beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can listen at foxnewsradio.com. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The unsettled weather is gone. Partly sunny skies going through our Monday afternoon. It's going to be a little windy from the northwest, but can't complain about the temperatures. 82. Tonight, partly cloudy, 70s for evening plans. It's cool overnight, and let's keep the winds up, especially during the evening. 62 for the overnight low. Tuesday, partly sunny, delightful, 75 degrees. Wednesday, sunny and 82. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands to treat ED at up to 95% off. That's right, the same active ingredient as the brand name for 95% less. It's the same ED medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
For over a century, AM radio has evolved to meet the needs of our community. More than 80 million listeners depend on AM radio each month. It's also the backbone of the emergency alert system, keeping us safe in dangerous times. A new bill in Congress would ensure this free, reliable service remains in cars. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to support the AM radio for every vehicle act.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Long summer days call for extra hands. Hire fast with Indeed. Their hiring solution helps attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
I want to talk to you about Window World and how if you are in the market to shop for some windows, Window World has the solutions that you need. They are offering right now 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. If you are in need of windows or a window, call them at 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. You can call for a free home estimate and they can show you how they are simply the best for less, making windows affordable for you. And these are windows that you can rely on. Window World uses a double strength glass that gives it the strength not commonly used in replacement windows. They are so durable, they will stand on their promise, and you can see that literally when you go to visit them. 314-993-1800. Reach out to Window World, ranked #1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. If you are looking to purchase windows in your near future, like my house, where it's about a little over 20 years old, all of a sudden everything builder's grade is starting to downgrade itself, and where you reach out to Window World, they are going to work with you and make those windows brand new. Reach out to them by calling 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800, online right now at windowworld.com.
Together Credit Union is the official banking partner of St. Louis City SC, which means Together Credit Union is the only place to find the official City SC debit card, which comes with special perks. There's no cost for the City SC debit card, so don't wait and sign up today online at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
The voice for hardworking, free-thinking Americans.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, happy 2 o'clock on a Monday afternoon. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We are about to make a very big announcement for 97.1 here in a few minutes. We're getting some things set up, so stick around. If you're here for the big announcement, you are in the right place. So hold that thought, put a pin in it. We've got a couple things that we want to promote here first. It is not the big announcement, but it is a big announcement. We have a GOP debate watch party coming up. Ryan, we've done these at my house before in our basement, but we're taking the basement along with the rest of the station on the road, and we're inviting people to join us.
Yeah, it's going to be at Dave & Buster's this year. We are going to decorate one of their rooms exactly like Annie's basement. It's going to be crazy.
Like the last time, the midterm elections, we had you reporting live from my youngest daughter's desk at the Eads Bridge.
Yeah, we're going to do all that from Dave & Buster's. It's going to be amazing. I mean, you won't be able to tell the difference at all. It'll look like Annie's basement, but we'll be at Dave & Buster's.
You've given me an idea.
Don't do it.
We still have the desk. We still have the green screen. And I think you still have your hat. Can we set this up at Dave & Buster's? Because I think that the Annie Frey Show is going to do a YouTube live stream. I'm still looking forward to the possibility that this is going to happen.
Trisha!
We need to make it happen.
So our goal now is that you tune in to the live stream and you can't tell we're anywhere different.
Make it look.
I mean, I was kidding. And now this is becoming a reality.
Yeah, this is absolutely going to happen.
Ridiculous.
So one more time, the details on that.
August 23rd.
Which is when the GOP debate is happening.
That's when the GOP debate is happening. Everything else we're doing is kind of crafted around that. And apparently we're doing more than I anticipated. I think I just walked into
a
very busy night.
Right
now.
before your
I thought
eyes
it was going to be just me hanging out with everybody. Now, August 23rd, so that's next Wednesday, so a week from this coming Wednesday. 9 days from now, at 8 o'clock is when the debate starts. I do believe we're going to be there starting at about 7, so we'll be there early. Dave & Buster's, come out. It's completely free, so you do need to sign up just to let us know how many chairs to have, and, we're going to have tables and stuff. We're all just going to be hanging out, watching it together, probably eating some food and playing games and stuff. But that is all just a party night, basically.
One big mystery, the Science Theater.
It kind of is, actually. Yeah, we're going to be yelling stuff at the screens and whatever we normally do from home, just all together. So you're invited. Please do come. We want to hang out with you. That's the idea of this whole event, is that we can all hang out and watch this GOP debate on August 23rd. Sign up, though. Even though it's free, just sign up to let us know you're coming so we can have your seat at 971talk.com/events.
And also, before we get to the big announcement, Friday, August 18th, we are participating in a little giveaway here that if you keep listening right now, people are going to have the opportunity to win.
Yeah,
Can you talk to us about that?
And you can win every day so every day this week. The Cardinals game is this Friday, August 18th, like you said. But you can win tickets to Military Appreciation Night every day. We're going to be giving away tickets here in just a few minutes. You'll just listen for the sounder. It'll give you the phone number, be the right caller, and you win. So super easy, but just stick around for lots of chances to win that, too.
I've checked my schedule, and I think that Friday, August 18th is free on my schedule. And I'm not 100% sure. Is that the one with the sweet hat that they're giving away?
Oh, good question. I didn't look into what their doorbuster was or whatever.
Well, I think I'm going to try to go to that game. I'm going to try to get some tickets, and I hope that I can make it. And we're going to be giving away some tickets here soon.
Yes.
Give away a time?
Yeah. Either right after this or at 2. No. We're going to do it between 2:42 and 2:45, like that commercial break that we hit. It'll be somewhere in there. Don't hold me exactly that time. Just whenever that falls, it'll be in there.
Hannah has commented and said that hat night is that night.
Yay, Hannah. Good job.
Man.
Doing some serious research.
And also some inside baseball. Brad is hustling
if you
right
can
now.
hear a voice in the background, that's not your CB.
The big announcement that we're about to make is brewing. We want to let it simmer because it's that big of an announcement. And
Brad can't even pay attention to what we're saying about him right now because he's that focused on making this work.
He's just waving.
And he's waving me off.
He heard Brad. And
he
heard
heard that.
Like, get out of here. Get out of here with that. Let's see. Are we ready to go? Can we not yet?
No, we're not.
Brad, you're doing such a great job.
We got to do this right. We got to do it right. So we have to take the time necessary to make sure that we do it correctly because we've been given the privilege of making this announcement.
Why did they give it to us?
Clearly they messed up.
No, they didn't. I'm excited about it. When we're talking about the election and election night events that we will continue to do with this show, but also with the whole station, I was just talking to some friends here at the station about the midterm elections that we covered, where we were in the basement and we had everybody. We always have you join us on the Annie Frey YouTube. It's not broadcast live on the air. The majority of what we are doing on any given basis is centered around radio, and then we try to do as much. We try to do as much digital and social stuff around the radio product, but the epicenter is radio. A lot of these extra things that we do, it's
not radio.
It's a microcosm of some of our super fans who join us there. That midterm election night, we had that set up to be one of the most fun nights ever. And it is super underestimated how much of a crap night that was.
It was so, like, some of the reporting we're doing is like, okay, I'm live from, your daughter's Etch-a-Sketch or whatever. And like, it was supposed to be funny. And we're like, but this isn't going the way that we hoped. So,
and it was a slow burn.
Yeah, it wasn't sudden.
It got worse.
That's the thing.
And worse.
If the Republicans still took the House, so it wasn't as if we just went, wah. But
2 words, red tsunami.
That didn't happen.
We didn't know if they were going to take the House until 3 weeks after the election.
Right.
So you sat there that night and you were, it was like, we had our party pants on for that night and that coverage, and there was no party.
No.
I'm fearful of how Republicans repeat that mistake.
That's what we're all afraid
come
of.
2024.
That's what's so crazy, is that in 2024, all the numbers, even polls, all the things that you look for, the indicators, they all would suggest that Republicans have, I wouldn't say a cakewalk, but they have a really good opportunity to step into something here. And yet, those same indicators were there in 2022, and we saw the results. And so we go into 2024, and we're all kind of afraid based on nothing but the results of the actual midterms. Because all the other stuff looks great. It's the midterms that you go, I don't do it.
Stop talking.
No, I'm going to keep talking.
Enough of you. Enough tap dancing. We have a big announcement to make here on the Annie Frey Show, and I'm so excited to welcome to the Annie Frey Show and also officially part of the 97.1 FM Talk lineup. Jimmy Fela joins us right now. Jimmy, thank you for being here. We are super excited to have you.
Gosh, I'm going to try not to get emotional, but yes, thank you. Thank you for having a girl. Whitney Houston once sang, "Give me one moment in time. I believe this is mine. I believe this is ours."
Yes.
So thank you. It is a high honor to be joining the 97.1 family.
Yeah, we are.
And go ahead.
I was just going to say, you're going to be on from 6 to 7 p.m. here nightly on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. So we want to welcome you here to your new home in St. Louis. And, Jimmy, I know that you put on a great radio show. You are all over Fox News right now because you're doing a ton of stuff with Fox Nation. You are on one of our favorite shows on Fox News, Gutfeld. We have a lot of your friends that are on Gutfeld on a regular basis on this show. So just an official welcome to the lineup here on our station.
Oh, that is awesome. Yeah. And I fill in for Greg a lot. I'm filling in for him again next week. And it's kind of a big deal. Like when you fill in for the number one late night host, normally you have big shoes to fill, but in Greg's case, they're a size 3.
So you leave a little bit there off the side. I understand that.
Yes. If anything, you look a little taller because you're sitting on 2 phone books. But it's a big deal. And thank you. And honestly, you need to know this. I was just in your hood because I filmed a package there for the 4th of July special at Busch Stadium. And if you had seen the shape I was in, there's no way I'd be added to this lineup. So thank you for dodging that bullet.
That's fantastic. You know, I think that it's exciting to see more people that are in the line of news and politics and media that come from willingness and eagerness to make people laugh. The pairing of those two things right now is so key to the necessary conversations that we need to have, because there are a lot of people taking themselves real seriously. I see you talk about serious issues in a consumable way. Tell me about your show.
That's kind of the hook. So Fox Across America is we're giving you your vitamins in your applesauce. Do you remember when you were a little kid and your parents wanted you to take your Flintstone meds and you didn't like them?
Yeah.
So they just gave you a bowl of ice cream or something.
We
and they
still do
tricked
that
you
to
into
Ryan
them?
Wiggins here on the Andy Frey Show to make sure he gets his vitamins.
And I still spit it out like a dog.
I was just going to say that. It's so funny that to think back that my parents were doing to me what I do to my dog. Exactly. I would totally do that. I would totally do that. So, yes, that's what we're doing. We're putting your vitamins in your applesauce, and that we're giving you hard news in a way that you don't really feel it going down. Because the way I look at it is the world is on fire, and we're just kind of roasting radio marshmallows every day. Because I think for a lot of people, number one, it's like a coping mechanism. It's easier to deal with hard news when you cartoon it a little bit. But number two, it really is like a public service, because everybody in this country is on the verge of snapping. You're never more than 5 feet away in the year 2023 from someone who's about to become Michael Douglas in the movie Falling Down and just start clotheslining people online at the store. So I'm looking at it like I'm genuinely trying to opiate the masses. I think that's the plan.
It's refreshing to hear, and we've seen you doing that on Fox News quite a bit. I know you have lots of content on Fox Nation for people to consume as well. I wonder, I see the world, we used to be divided in red and blue, but I kind of started to see, or at least our country, politically divided in freedom fighters and freedom takers a little bit more. And there's an essence of that that's incredibly serious. And so when you talk about these issues that are facing Americans, they are really serious. How do you see, when you're traveling the country with your comedy shows, or when you're talking to people, if it's at a Fox event or something like that, what do you see the breakdown of real Americans like the ones we have right here in St. Louis? Is it still red-blue, or has it changed for you a little bit?
Well, here's the truth. It's we did a poll on this when we were in St. Louis about whether or not you call America or you call it Murica on the 4th of July. And St. Louis kind of renewed my faith in the country because it was 98% Murica.
I was hoping. Yeah, those are my people.
No, straight up. They're just the best. And here's the thing, okay? I think if you were to just try to make the case to anyone who was on the fence, that wasn't a hardcore Republican, wasn't a hardcore Democrat, but was trying to figure out what resonates with them, okay? Everything you get out of bed in search of, happiness, liberty, money, women, men, whatever you're into. I'm not going to yuck your yum. I mean, I've got some odd things in my search history, so I'm not here to judge. But the point is, all of those freedoms, all of those pursuits are on the Murica side of the argument. Okay, what America has become on the left, and this is crazy, but if you grew up in the 90s, you remember the band Rage Against the Machine?
Yeah.
But everyone who grew up in that mindset of Rage Against the Machine has now joined the machine. The Democrats were the party, an anti-establishment party. And now they're banning you from polite society if you don't do what the government wants you to do, whether you're talking about a lockdown, a vaccine, climate change, or anything in between. It's the people that used to rage against the machine are now publicly shaming anybody who doesn't shill for the machine.
Yeah.
So it's a weird backwards thing. And I never thought the party on the right, we would get the cool street cred, but we have it now because we're now the free speech party. And they've gone the other way. They're like a party of hall monitors.
That's fantastic. The idea of classic liberalism, it's strange how if you're paying any attention, that vote doesn't go in the Democrat column anymore. Jimmy Fela on with us right now. We are so excited to be announcing that Fox Across America with Jimmy Fela is going to be on 97.1 from 6 to 7 p.m. weeknights starting August 21st. We are so excited to have you be a part of this lineup. One more question before we let you go. We are 449 days from the election. And people like you and people like me who are in this media business and covering the news every day, there's no off day. There are big, huge news stories every single day that do require the American voters' attention should they want to be informed. How are you going to march towards the election in 2024 with your coverage? Are you going to try to tighten it up and make it a little more serious along the way? Or are you going to keep focusing on making people take a load off?
I think you got to kind of have that gap where you have to, be honest about the gravity of what we're up against as a country. But I think you attract more people to the cause by being a fun, reasonable side. You dig? I think, my show sounds like I get paid in Tide Pods and cheap tequila. And part of that is strategy. Part of that's just because I need a better agent. But the reality is, I think we're the party of fun. And I think if you continuously make that case and you just look at the political parties as actual parties, which party do you want to hang out with? The America side with the good fireworks, or the other side that's going to yell at you for cultural appropriation because you brought guacamole to the party and you're not Mexican? It's like we're having more fun at our party, and that's everything you need to know.
Yeah, you're spot on. Jimmy Fela, thank you for being with us here on the Annie Frey Show. We are so excited to welcome you to the lineup. It's going to be an incredibly strong lineup going into an election year, and you're going to be a big part of that. Jimmy, we're really grateful for your time this afternoon.
You guys, big radio hug from New York. I'll see you soon.
Sounds
Let's
great.
Get 'em.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So exciting to have Jimmy Fela be a part of this lineup. Man, he's funny. I love our personal Annie Frey Show relationship with the comedians that are dipping their toe into a lot of news coverage with Fox, of course. But when Mark Reardon gets done, Jimmy Fela is going to come on and continue the discussion. I think that it's a very exciting time for 97.1, and hopefully the listeners are going to embrace that as well.
I like too that it's a little bit different type of show, that he talked about it being a little bit more of a take your foot off the pedal moment, for you to just hear what's going on and laugh at it a little bit. I mean, he's obviously super quick, so nothing's going to get by Jimmy Fela. It'll be good radio. I'm looking forward to listening to it myself.
A round of applause for Brad for making that happen.
Dude,
oh my gosh.
That was cool because you could hear, he had to talk loudly to Jimmy Fela to make that work. And you could hear him talking as loud as he could.
Oh, man.
And we were trying to talk over him.
I'm sorry. I was trying to be quiet, but I was getting a lot of your audio and my voice back over that. And if you've ever tried to talk with a delay on your voice,
it's impossible.
It's a speech jammer.
Yeah. It makes your brain go, I don't know.
Oh, we've all done it.
Well, my husband's car, if he puts the phone on the car, I can hear everything I say be spoken into the car and then loop back. And so when he's answering the question that I asked him, or his turn, then I'm here and I'm like, I'm going to drive off.
I bet every single person who's listening has had that happen before on their cell phone.
So thank you, Brad, for making that work. We wanted to make sure that we did this via video on the Annie Frey YouTube live stream, and we were able to pull it off, and you did a great job. Top notch. We got it done. And that's what's important. So Jimmy Fela, host of Fox Across America, is going to be airing from 6 to 7 p.m. here on 97.1 FM Talk. And it all starts August 21st, and an even stronger lineup for 97.1 as we move into this election season.
It's a lot of fun. And the big announcement coming up next.
Shut up. That was the big announcement. We do have a giveaway coming up.
We do. In the next break. So stick around
This
at
one?
about, 2:43 is what I'm going to say. Right around there in that commercial break.
2:43-ish.
It's gonna air in there, so be ready to call and win. And we'll tell you every day when about it's gonna air, so that you know.
We also usually give you a little scoop on the Annie Frey YouTube channel live broadcast ahead of time. So if you join us there, you might pick up on a little hint earlier in the show as to when we're going to give them away. All right, stick around for Annie Frey Show and a nice sigh of relief as we've delivered our big announcement welcoming Jimmy Fela to the 97.1 lineup. We'll be back in a minute. Don't go away.
Man, we lit up your world like the 4th of July.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Put your name at the top of his list, and a statue of Liberty started shaking her fist, and the eagle will fly, and it's gonna be here when you hear Mother Freedom start ringing her bell, and it'll feel like the whole wide world is raining down on you. Brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
Very Very good ending, Brad. Good job. So when he's doing a good job today, man.
Doing radio things.
You got to call him out, even when you're doing
good
live.
radio things.
Yes, I don't need to say it 3 times, but yes, you're doing a great job. So when I talk about Fountains Family Dentistry, one of the things I like to do is tell stories because I've known Dr. Ty Parker for so long that I know a lot about the practice. In fact, I was there when he was building it, so he had been an associate before, and he built his own practice in Fairview Heights. And I got to walk through the building that he was framing out, and I said, well, what's this going to be? What's this going to be? And he told me, well, this room's for this, this room's for this. Everything was, from the bones of the building, built to be high-tech. You talk about x-ray rooms and stuff, you have to do that. But he was building it to not only look cool, but to be a high-tech office. And what's neat is that he's always been that way. I've known Dr. Ty Parker since before I could call him doctor, which I only do in lives. I call him Ty in regular life. But he is always been at the top of whatever the latest technology is. So if you're worried about going someplace that's kind of old-fashioned, because I used to go to a dentist that was that way when I was a kid, I was like, am I really getting the best care here? Those people still exist because they kind of park where they're at and then they don't update anything. Dr. Ty Parker is always going to give you the latest to get you in and out of his office fast, but also painless procedures as much as humanly possible, and they work with you at every level to not only diagnose your problems, but to figure out what your insurance can help with and how they can finish up with you the whole thing. So anyway, Dr. Ty Parker, Fountains Family Dentistry. I get wrapped up in telling stories. Go to his website, fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
Ah, summer. Time to head to the pool, hit the links, and enjoy some Cardinals baseball.
And this one is going to leave the yard. A home run for Goldie. Oh, did he crush it?
With the free Odyssey app, you can stream every Cardinals game on News Radio 1120 KMOX, no matter what you're doing this summer.
Safe, a double steal for O'Neill and Walker.
Get in the game and download the free Odyssey app today. That's AUDACY.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisor Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. I have many female clients and widows that don't fully understand their investment choices. Would you like a retirement review and a second opinion on your current retirement plan? Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying, and would you like to learn how you can avoid those fees? Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees for the past 37 years. Let our family help your family. So go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Arco National Construction, LLC seeks structural engineer in St. Louis, Missouri to design, model, detail, and coordinate the structural elements of buildings. Apply at jobpostingtoday.com. Reference number 87156. Arco National Construction, LLC seeks structural engineer in St. Louis, Missouri to design, model, detail, and coordinate the structural elements of buildings. Apply at jobpostingtoday.com. Reference number 87156.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Summer's just getting started. Still need your air conditioner checked? Schedule your HVAC system check for only $54. This is a limited time offer. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
We've gone out a few times. You ready to put a ring on it? Download the Odyssey app and listen to 97.1 FM Talk on your phone or by telling your smart speaker to play it. This is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy to be with you. Big announcement announcement that was just made here on the Annie Frey Show. We have officially added Jimmy Fela and Fox Across America, his show, to the 97.1 lineup. And it's going to be hitting right after Mark Reardon wraps up from 6 to 7 p.m. Very exciting news for the station. I'm very excited for it. Back in St. Louis on the Home for Conservative Talk. It's great news. I think it's be good for the station.
Yeah, I do too. It starts a week from today, just so you know. If you tune in tonight, it starts next Monday. So starting next Monday at 6 o'clock, you're going to hear Jimmy Fela and Fox Across America.
Brad had a 40th birthday this weekend. How did that go?
I ran out of breath blowing out candles.
Yeah.
Really?
There's a lot of candles.
Did you have 40 candles on a cake?
No, I didn't actually.
Did you run out of breath blowing out 2 candles?
Yeah,
4 and a 0?
I'm getting old.
You might want to see a doctor about that.
Yeah. We got together with family and friends, and we went out to eat at one of my favorite restaurants, which is Cyberg's in O'Fallon, and got a bunch of chicken wings because that's what I wanted for my birthday dinner.
They have good chicken wings.
They have great chicken wings.
20 years ago, you would have said and got a bunch of drinks. You wouldn't have. But
No.
Most people would not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then had some birthday cake, an awesome marble cake from Wood Bakery in O'Fallon, and it was amazing. And I'm not even like a huge cake fan, but I would eat lots of this cake. So we had
Was
to
it a
give
smash cake for your birthday?
No.
Because I would have liked to see that.
Yeah, you would have. Well,
look at Brad. He's turning 40.
If you would have
You're
showed up.
joking about this, but there are women who do this.
No, really?
Yes.
Is this a TikTok thing?
No, I think it's pre-TikTok. There are grown people who have like the photo session with a smash cake. I've seen it. It's kind of funny.
Gosh, it sounds funny as long as it's intended to be funny.
It's a perfect example of something that you see on the internet and is like a good internet haha funny moment. Like, oh my gosh, look at what they did that.
Yeah.
And then people are like, I'm entitled to my 40-year-old smash cake.
Well,
I'm like,
that's what I'm
God
saying.
Dang it, people.
That's
No.
the people I don't want to see going, oh, it's mine. And it'd be in my wedding dress.
What, man, I wore my wedding dress a couple years ago to a trunk or treat because my daughters wanted to dress up as princesses.
Really?
And they're like, Mom, you dress up like one too. And I was like, I wonder if I can fit in my wedding dress. And I did. So I just wore it out in the parking lot.
What? Well, I'm glad you got use out of it because ours.
What do you mean I got use out of it?
Ours has just been sitting in the basement now for 16 years. We don't know what to do with it.
You want her to have another wedding?
No.
Maybe you should renew your vows. Maybe you should give her an opportunity to wear that thing with pride.
I don't want to go do that. That sounds like a lot of work.
Are you mad about the wedding dress sitting in the basement?
Yeah,
still?
I'm mad about it because it's so expensive and then it just sits there. And I don't know what to do with it. And who knows? Maybe there's bugs in it now and stuff.
Maybe you should wear it.
I don't want to wear a wedding dress.
Maybe there's bugs in it? Like, did she not get it preserved or anything
I mean,
like that?
I didn't get mine preserved. Are you kidding me? What a waste of money.
That's probably going to cost more, Brad. I
I
don't want
never
to do
even
that.
had mine cleaned after I wore it.
You wore it dirty.
When I put it back on in the parking lot,
Yeah.
I was real concerned about the
you were riding
cleanliness of
dirty.
it.
Stupid wedding dress. I don't know why. That bothers me. Every time I see that thing in the basement, I'm like, $500. Stupid box.
You paid $500 for the
I don't remember. I
for
really
the
don't.
gown and you're complaining?
I really don't remember.
If
I remember
you don't
buying the ring.
then you have a lot of rage for a very little information.
Well, I knew that it was going to cost enough that I didn't want to know anything about it. I just said, go do it. It's going to be a problem in our marriage, and I don't want to deal with it. I just wanted to sit there.
Your wedding dress, your wife's wedding dress, sitting in a box in the basement is going to be a problem for your marriage?
Man, I'm telling you what. You know what? I
Is
just
she
had a
still
flashback.
out of the country?
Yeah, she is.
It's-
That's part of why I'm doing this. She comes back tonight. I know she just texted me.
Does she?
She's in Atlanta.
Does she?
I'm like, yeah, you ain't listening then. I remember.
Hey, now's a great time to remind you about the Odyssey app. You can stream 97.1
No,
FM
don't
Talk
do that.
anywhere around the world, around the country. You can even rewind about 5 minutes ago in case you're like, did I just hear that exactly the way I think I did?
Don't clip any of this and send it to my wife if you know her. Don't
Download
do
the
this stuff.
Odyssey app and follow 97.1 FM Talk and the Annie Frey Show. What were you saying, Ryan?
People do that. Do you know that? People will come up to my wife and be like, hey, I remember when your husband was saying this. And I'm like, no,
Maybe, Mel,
do that.
Maybe this is not a people problem. Maybe this is a you.
No. This is everybody else's
The question
problem.
is do you know that? Because obviously, if you knew that, you wouldn't keep doing it.
Well, but the first thought in my mind right now
Brad.
is that she's not even barely over the border of the country.
No.
She just landed.
Brad just made an obviously statement that wasn't actually accurate. Just because he would not make him stop doing it.
No, of course not. And plus, I'd have to think a few steps deep. I don't want to do that.
You said riding dirty before, and I looked it up on Urban Dictionary. And it says driving while possessing or doing something that the police could arrest you for. That's not how I was in my wedding dress.
I'm not really familiar with the phrase. I just thought it sounded cool.
I have some very tragic news to report on. I was talking to my husband about, you know how you say that one word, like South Madison County in say?
Yes.
How do you say it?
What was the word again?
Panache.
Panache.
Brad?
I thought it was panache.
Panache.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
The pronunciation on Google is wrong.
Panache.
No, Google's never wrong.
I was telling my husband that story about how I was making fun of you for saying panache when everybody says a certain kind of panache or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, it's ridiculous. She says it panache and it's so wrong.
Panache.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you and your...
And since I was wrong, according to how Google pronounced it, I thought I would formally apologize to you.
Thank you. You and your potato chips. Northern Madison County. Dorks.
I made a whole thing out of this. And then you said pistachio, and my mom says pistachio. I'm outing her right
I did
now.
not say that.
You said pistachio, making fun of people who say panache.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and I'm
okay,
like, no,
making
my
fun of
mom
it.
actually does say pistachio. And I'm like, mother.
There is one
No.
word that somebody in my family says that every time she says it, I kind of go, but I think it's an older fashioned pronunciation. It's, I'm going to go down to the Home Depot. Yeah, oh yeah.
Your wife?
No, I cannot say because I love this woman dearly. I don't want to throw.
What?
I don't want to throw her under the bus. Wait.
Whoa!
Look, let me just say this. If this person was on a flight out of the country, I would do the same thing.
No!
I'm apples and apples.
Did you hear what you just said?
I did hear it.
Did that come out the
It's
way
a
you
problem.
intended?
Yeah, no.
Do you want to correct it?
I'm not saying that I love this person more than my wife.
No, just
I love all my family members
talking.
equally, and if they are gone, I will talk about
You don't
them
love
openly.
all your family members equally. That's a lie. That's not
no,
true
it's
for
not true.
anybody. Stop.
Love is love.
Joe Biden 2024. How do you feel about your wife?
Love her.
She's the best.
She is the best.
She's the best Katie Wiggins there ever was.
That's a fact.
Love. Period.
I love her probably even more than you guys do. And that is a fact.
She is coming home, right?
She's on her way.
She's on her way. She in the air?
I think she just landed.
Did she buy Wi-Fi?
I hope not. I said you can either get a cab to the airport or Wi-Fi.
Nobody says Home Depot.
Somebody does.
They're just doing that to mess with you?
No, they're not.
They're
Yes.
saying it unironically.
Yeah,
Are they
that's-
listening right now?
Maybe.
You don't say Home Depot.
Yes.
Not seriously.
Yes.
You might as well just say Home Depot.
No. No. It's not. It's not French. Actually, maybe it is. Let's look up depot.
DEPOT. Why would you say depot?
I think it's an old-fashioned pronunciation. I think people used to say
Like
go
in
down
Old
to the
English?
depot. No, not Old English.
No, did anybody that was alive when this was being said say you go down to the depot?
I do believe so. Yes. What is the meaning of the word depot? It just says it's British English. It doesn't even say.
Oh, man.
Nothing.
I
There's
don't know
nothing.
about any of this.
Oxford language.
But I was definitely wrong about panache, which is how we in northern Madison County.
Hannah, can you just cut the part where she says I was definitely wrong? You don't have to add any
it seems
extra
as though
to it.
it wasn't working recording at that time.
Hannah, seriously.
I was wrong. I'm still going to say panache, though.
Yes. Just keep saying it. Just go to the break saying that.
We'll be right back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Got a little bit of something, God, it's better than nothing.
If you're shopping for flooring, you don't have to go immediately into the Michael's Flooring outlet stores to see what they have. You can go online right now to igotfloored.com and find out what they have. They have multiple locations that you can shop, but you can request an estimate right there from igotfloored.com. From the people who are selling flooring, who are helping you find your flooring solutions that are locals. This is a locally owned and operated family business in the St. Louis area that's been there for decades, giving you the customer service, the value, and the quality that you expect. If you are looking for hardwood flooring, if you are looking for something that emulates hardwood flooring, but maybe doesn't have the maintenance that hardwood does, if you're looking for waterproof flooring, carpeting, the Mohawk Smart Strand line, they sell that there. Michael's Flooring Outlet is going to help you navigate this process so that that look and feel that you've been trying to achieve, you get it at a great value, but also that you get all the questions answered that you might have. Michael's Flooring Outlet is a wonderful partner of 97.1, and they are a locally owned and operated business that I am proud to stand beside and recommend to you. Find them online at igotfloored.com.
Want to win a pair of Cardinals tickets for Military Appreciation Night at the ballpark this Friday? Call now. 314-241-9797.
314-241-9797.
Be the ninth caller.
If you're looking at new windows for your house, choose wisely. Mark Cox here for my friends at Window World. You want to go with a company you can trust. Ranked number one in the number of windows sold in the country. That's according to Qualified Remodeler magazine. In just over 20 years in business, they've improved the look and obviously the thermal efficiency of over 70,000 customers in St. Louis. They're going to give you a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts and the glass breakage and the labor. It's a good product. Call them at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate. That's 314-993-1800. Window World won the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval. That's not easy. They rely on the expertise of their in-house engineers and their analysts and their product experts to give that seal of approval. That should matter to you as well. Call for your free estimate right now. Simply the best for less at Window World. 314-993-1800. WindowWorld.com.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
Mark Reardon sees clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Maholtred Ophthalmology Associates. You can too. Go to yourEyeDoc.com today. That's yourEyeDoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
Now, your Live Nation lineup. Don't miss these upcoming shows. Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks at GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium on August 19th. Guns N' Roses at Busch Stadium on September 9th. Aerosmith will be at the Enterprise Center on October 26th. Metallica at the Dome at America Center for 2 dates, November 3rd and November 5th. For tickets and info, hit up livenation.com.
Today's Annie Frey Show YouTube live chat poll: does the increasing number of indictments affect your support for Trump? Yes. Support him more? Yes. Support him? Yes. Less. Or no, we'll continue to support. No, we'll continue to not support. 4 choices all to the poll today. Let us know. Hannah will read those results shortly. It is 2:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Should you put ketchup on a hot dog? I say yes. Sue says no. It's going to court with Judge Dane at 5:07. Plus a Reardon Roundtable at 3.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I like the song. It's a
The
nice
heck is that?
Owl City. Is that what it's called? Turn it
Owl
up. You'll know it
City.
here in a second. I was going to wait for it to hit. Yeah. All of Boomer St. Louis right now in their car, bopping a little bit.
Oh,
It's good.
I
Yeah.
recognize that song.
I like it. We need to get. I don't know if. Okay. Who do you think? I mean, we have the metrics and ratings and stuff like that, but is there a consistency in music likes for Boomers, Gen X, Millennials? I'm going to leave Gen Z. Is there
Somebody
still
who crosses all age
Is there
boundaries.
any obvious person? I don't know that there is.
Man.
Like the generation wars that have been put upon us, in my opinion, strictly for social media views and likes and stuff. I don't know that those generations are really that much apart. And any time you're like shaking your fist at the youngins who are stupid, whatever you call the current stupid youngins it seems to be repetitive in criticism.
Are you trying to define somebody who's been around that long and been through all those eras, or somebody who just everybody identifies
So
with?
you're saying Taylor Swift since you brought up eras.
No, I'm not at all.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying Taylor Swift at all.
No,
I'm
just saying, is there an artist that transcends that everyone's like, yeah, they're good? I think Taylor Swift could be it.
I don't think older people really care about her.
Is there a bigger star in the world right now than Taylor Swift?
I don't think so, other than maybe Donald Trump, honestly. As far as recognizability?
Donald Trump is nowhere near the popularity of Taylor Swift.
Not
She's
popularity, just as far as people knowing who they are.
a star.
If you talk about beloved, then I would have to say it's probably Taylor Swift.
In the conversation that I was moving into, Donald Trump did not even enter my thought process in that regard. I mean, I'm blown away by how many she's selling out, 3 and 4 nights of the biggest stadiums in the country.
And adding another tour next year, as far as I know.
It's unbelievable. It's kind of cool to watch. Let's talk about today's YouTube live chat poll. This is it. This is the first time that I've mentioned this poll on the show today because our show has been so crazy. Did you get to listen to much of the Will Scharf conversation?
Yeah.
It was
good.
Interesting. I want you to go on the Odyssey app and rewind maybe like 10, 15 minutes ago to listen to Ryan Wiggins say things that he regrets, and then go back even further to about 12:05 when we started the show and Will Scharf was in here. And we spent the first segment discussing the Biden indictments, the Biden corruption and controversies. And then the second segment, we talked about the Trump indictments. So go back and listen to that. Really interesting conversation. At 2:05, we opened the segment with a pitch for the big announcement that we have, and we announced it about 2:15 that Jimmy Fela, host of Fox Across America, is joining the 97.1 lineup from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. starting next Monday, August 21st. Very excited about that. But today's YouTube live chat poll is, does the increasing number of indictments affect your support for Trump? So I'm going to give you the options here because it's kind of complicated. It's a yes or no question. The question is asking, do the indictments affect your support for Trump? So they could affect it in both ways. Or you could be fully supportive or fully against, and the indictments don't have anything to do with that. So the first one is, yes, the indictments cause you to support him more. Or, yes, they cause you to support him less. Or the other two options are, no, you're going to continue to support him regardless. Or, no, you're going to continue to not support him regardless. Ryan, where are you at?
Yes, support him more. The persecuted president gets my sympathy every time that happens.
Brad, what about you?
I'm a no, but will continue to support.
So
it doesn't change me right now.
I made this question because you said that they would. I thought that you would be an absolute yes. They do continue. So tell me about that. You you support him, but the indictments have no effect on it.
Not right now, no. I'm actually getting kind of numb to them, which is surprising. It's like, oh, yep, here's another one. Who cares?
Okay. Hannah, what about you? Does the increasing number of indictments affect your support for Trump?
You know, it really all kind of confuses me. I feel like one indictment has the same power as like now 3, 4.
It's kind of what Brad was saying.
Continuing on, like I feel like I agree with Brad how I kind of am numb to the indictments now, which is not a good thing. I also think that the Democrats think that the more we hear that, the less support he's going to have, but I don't think that's the case.
Okay. Do you have some comments that you want to feature for us before I get to the results here?
I do have some comments. Kenneth commented on our YouTube page and said, I will continue to support Donald Trump because I know that this is a witch hunt, meaning the indictments. Carlo commented and said, indictments are not convictions. My support stays until there's a reason to take it away. KK commented and said, my support grows. Again, it's all distraction. Bring on the trials. See whose team calls for witnesses. Lori commented and said, I will support him all the way. I just think supporting him is enough. Supporting him more is not needed. And Jonathan Hannah on our Facebook channel commented, there are other viable options. He has had his time. So Jonathan is not rooting for Trump.
I will add in here, I haven't given my response yet. I think that the indictments are actually causing me to support him more. And it's just a matter of what's at stake. Now, my very public concern about Donald Trump and his ability to win the general election is the concern that exists for me about voting for him in the primary. It's not about his policies. It's not about his, attitude, whether you think it's like his best feature or his worst feature. It's not about the obvious criminal pursuit in political actions that we've seen the Biden administration take towards him. I want Donald Trump, if he's the nominee, I want him to win. I need him to win. The country needs him to win. My children and their children need Donald Trump to win. But watching what they're willing to do to him, I would love to see him be the one who gets to redo the Justice Department back to its original intent, which is not to be used as a political club to take anywhere that you want to, reset the score. Hannah, you want to read any more comments here before I do the results?
Yes, we have a comment from Katie. She says, no, I don't care what they throw at him. I have no reason yet to stop supporting him, though he is not one of my top 3 candidates in the Republican primaries.
That's interesting that she's saying that she isn't not supporting him, but Trump is also not her lead candidate.
Yeah, that was a great comment.
You can support Donald Trump without him being your candidate.
Yeah, that's what a primary process is for. That's the whole point.
So let's get to the results here. Does the increasing number of indictments affect your support for Trump? 5% yes, I support him less. So 5% of the listeners have said that it's negatively affecting their support. 13% said no, I will continue to not support. 38% said yes, it's going to cause me to support him more. And 43%, the highest vote getter, say no, they're going to continue to support him either way. So those results resoundingly 81% of the people say they're either going to, it doesn't matter what the indictments do, they're going to continue to support him or it will cause him to support more.
I wonder if that group of people who are saying no or less support, if those people are Democrats, which means that they already, weren't, or if they're Republicans saying this is the final straw for me. Or if they were already on the fence and this has pushed them over the fence. I don't know.
Before we go, Hannah, you took the winning call of our Cardinals tickets today.
I did.
Is it Helen? The winner?
Yep, Helen from Union, Missouri won.
Well, congratulations to Helen. Thank you for listening. And Ryan, as I understand it, we're giving away tickets each day?
Every single day. Pair of tickets. Keep listening.
For the Friday, August 18th.
Yep, for this Friday.
That's very cool. I'm going to try to go. I'm going to try to work it into the schedule. Big announcement today. Jimmy Fela, host of Fox Across America. He joined us at 2:15 today. You could watch it live on the Annie Frey YouTube broadcast, and you heard it live right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Joining the 97.1 lineup from 6 to 7 p.m. right after Mark Reardon gets done. Very excited to welcome Jimmy Fela to the 97.1 family right here on St. Louis's home for conservative talk, right where Jimmy Fela belongs, and we're excited to have him here. Stick around. The Mark Reardon Show coming up next.
And I got back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've